Hokage Hatake Glory, Chapter 261-280. Text Chapter 261 Sharingan to Sharingan. A bitter wind blew through the roaring valley, and the two ends of the ground where the shuriken kunai were stuck in all directions, and the two brothers were facing each other. Interesting Academy. Sharingan vs. Sharingan. Uchiha to Uchiha. One is an unsung hero who became famous and determined to protect it for a long time. One is a blockbuster new hero who is determined to take revenge. Brother Ni-Chang is pouring. Sasuke, your heart should not be filled with hatred, people should live brightly. It's ridiculous to say that out of your mouth, Itachi, you live like a mouse, the one in the sewer. It is because I know the value of sunshine that I am in the dark. You don't need to learn from me. Shut up, Itachi, my light was long gone when the family was destroyed. The second assistant bit Kiba in his eyes, and all of this was caused by your own hands. You should understand that it's all for the sake of righteousness. Let your righteousness die. 8 swords flow one flash. Useless brother, the gap between us is doomed from birth. No matter how hard you catch up, you can't keep up with me. Susanoo Absolute Defense. Mangekyo Amaterasu. Closing and opening his left eye, he forced the Amaterasu fire again, causing Sasuke to have a splitting headache and almost fell. Uchiha Itachi disappeared without a trace. Interesting Academy first release. The pitch-black flame that burned out of thin air smashed everything down, leaving not even a trace of residue. The soil, rocks, air, everything surrounded by it, was completely destroyed. This is the real flame of destruction, the real terrifying flame of death. Come out, I know you're not dead, come out, you come out for me. The bloody left eye was covered with his hand and patrolled back and forth, and the second assistant suddenly froze in place. The biggest difference between you and me is that I control Sharingan and you are controlled by Sharingan. Without Sharingan, I am still Uchiha Itachi, but you are different. Without these eyes, you are nothing. Go away, I don't want to listen to your nonsense anymore. The unsheathed sharp blade swung out the sword marks, and Sasuke frantically swung around. Uchiha Itachi's voice continued, ordinary people's eyes have limits, and it is impossible to see the back of the head with 2 eyes. Although Sharingan is a bit unconventional, it also has its own limitations. After all, Sharingan is not Byakugan, so it can't be done. Perspective. When you attack with Mangekyo, you temporarily lose vision in one eye, during which time your vision is dead. Quote. Hyacinth Claw Yuhi. Hand seal method, which is completely imperceptible, spews out several fireballs mixed with shuriken. Even though it had been explained clearly in advance, Ursukuko still won the grand prize. If he hadn't avoided a little at the last minute, he would have lost his life under this simple ninjutsu. Did you see that a truly powerful attack does not necessarily have to pursue power, seek out the weakness of the enemy, and use the least force to get the desired result is truly strong. You are still too weak now, blindly pursuing yourself. The power that cannot be mastered will only lead you to destruction. Sasuke, give up the path you choose, and there is only darkness at the end of that path. Shut your mouth for me. I don't need you to teach me. If you have the guts, just fight with me. Sasuke, when will your innocence come to an end? Shira swept through Kuu's hair, and Uchiha Itachi steadied his body and tilted his head. When did the ninja's attack pursue justice and fairness? As long as the enemy can be dealt with, any means can be used. You really disappoint me, brother. I said, you are not allowed to call me brother again. Chidori Current Chidori Sharp Spear. The electric light pierced by Zera pierced through the phantom, and Sasuke made another stroke in anger. The sharp thunder light was thrown horizontally, and most of the mountain wall was cut through, leaving a striking scratch. Do you see clearly? Itachi, who appeared beside the mountain wall, touched the debris. No matter how powerful a technique is, it is useless if it can't hit anyone, and it will only limit itself to passiveness if it consumes nothing to achieve the result. One of your sufferings is not enough. The words fell, the person arrived, and the blade was wiped to the neck. The second assistant, whose left eye was temporarily ineffective, fled in embarrassment, but no matter how he fled, wherever he fled, the kunai followed him like a ghost. Do you feel the difference, brother? The terrified murderous intent rushed into his mind one after another, and the second assistant rushed into the sea of fire in a frenzy. Come in if you have one. Other Sharingan closed and opened, hexagonal snowflakes appeared. Sasuke opened a space in the Amaterasu fire that was released earlier, and stood in. Itachi, I'll see what you can do now. Sasuke, you are so ignorant, what's the point of using this ostrich trick? Doing so will only bring you into desperation. The power that cannot be mastered will not help you, it will only bring you disaster. Don't talk about it, I don't think you can get in. You're right, I can't get in. Itachi, who was standing outside Amaterasu, nodded. However, why do I want to go in? I can also do this kind of flame. It's unfortunate that our brothers have awakened similar abilities. You say, what if I add something to you here? You. Drops of cold sweat slid down his cheeks. The second assistant who thought he was invincible suddenly woke up, and Itachi looked at him with pity in his eyes. Mangekyo Amaterasu. Tomo's that were spinning rapidly were connected end to end to form a windmill, and black flames also appeared in front of Itachi. This is the flame from the center of the sun, the inextinguishable flame that can consume all things. Nisukako opened his eyes, and the violent hexagonal snowflakes firmly held the square inch, keeping the Amaterasu fire that Itachi shot out of his body. My Sharingan is stronger than yours. You can only release Amaterasu, but I can control Amaterasu. Itachi, you've been fooled. Flame escaped Gaju Earth Life. The combined Amaterasu fire was controlled by the right eye and burned forward. Sasuke bit the Kibaguan and widened his eyes. The two hexagonal snowflakes, Sharingan, burst into bloodshots, and two fresh Yuhi slid across his cheeks. Itachi, who was in the flames, struggled to raise his arms as if trying to grab something, and Fuziko, who controlled Amaterasu, was stunned, unable to believe that things would end so easily. Itachi died like this. Impossible. He is Uchiha Itachi. He is the super genius of the Uchiha family that is rare in a century. How could he die so easily? This is the 10th chapter. The cloud feels like a breakthrough. It will be consolidated and consolidated tomorrow, and I will go to sleep. Bye-bye, good night. Text Chapter 262 The Story of Anko and Dudu. Little human girl, we swans are good at swimming and flying. They are known for their elegance, nobility and holiness. Only those with pure heart and noble character will be recognized by us. Quote. The two pure white wings spread out to the water. The swan girl Jalu drew a circle in the lake in the sunset, and the sunset shone on her body in the water, reflecting the dots of Madara. This is an extremely beautiful creature. Looking at it, it seems that life has been sublimated. Hinata's little secretary fell into beauty, and Anko, who found the psychic beast with her, was suffering. The pine cone forest, the territory of the fire raccoon clan. Mitarashi Anko looked at this group of lazy and dying piebald cats and had the heart to slash people with knives. She and Tamari came here that day and said they were going to sign a contract, and these lazy cats were all surrounded by the poles. Little human girl, 00, do we have a contract with you to have some fish to eat? Little human girl, do we have any money for the contract with you? Little human girl, can we not work when we contract with you? I want fish, I want money, and I don't want to work. If these lazy cats weren't really good, Anko would really want to strangle them all. With a full stomach full of resentment, he made a contract with the fire raccoon. On the first day, they were sleeping. The next day, they were still sleeping. On the third day, these slackers were still sleeping. Sleep, sleep, why don't they sleep to death? Anko, who was depressed and vomiting blood, felt that she couldn't wait any longer, so she decided to ask a cat to ask. Anko first found one lying on a tree and asked it what it does for a day. The cat lying on the tree replied, eat, sleep, and make peas. If you eat, you can understand. If you don't eat, you will starve to death. Sleeping is easy to understand. You slackers know how to sleep in addition to eating. What is going on with this doo-doo? Anko, who was puzzled, turned around and asked another cat, what did it do all day? Other cat replied, eat, sleep, and peas. After answering, he waved his paws and closed his eyes to chase people away. The angry Anko suppressed the fire and went to ask the third one and the fourth one. The answer he got was amazing. All of them were eating, sleeping and playing peas. Anko, who was surprised, decided to keep asking, 10, 20, 30, 50, until the 100th, the difference appeared. This was a little kitten with white skin and black stripes, curled up like a teacup. When Anko asks what does it do all day, it replied, eat and sleep. Anko was surprised, why don't you beat doo-doo? The little kitten squinted and stared, I am doo-doo. A muffled thunder struck his forehead with a click. Anko burst into laughter, covered his stomach and asked, why did they beat you? Little kitten rolled her eyes, because I'm small. You, going to be beaten when you're young. It's tradition. Biography, tradition. There is such a tradition. Anko Spartak's mouth opened wide. The little kitten buried her head dejectedly. Do you think we look like cats? Like, Tanuki was a lynx, of course Anko knew. The little kitten sighed, cats like to slap balls with their claws. Yeah, Anko seemed to understand. The little kitten shouted angrily, I look like a ball, so. The taupe eyes blinked, looking at the little kitten huddled under his feet. Anko understood, you don't just grow like a ball, you shrink more like a ball. Can you not hit the cat like that? Okay, comrade kitten, you have to be strong. Anko crouched down and patted kitten on the head. The little kitten was angry, I wanted to tell you something, but now I don't want to. Aim. What are you doing? Comrade little kitten, what do you want to tell me? Anko, who was very experienced, moved away from the air by grabbing the collar by the back of his neck. The little kitten, whose 4 little paws were scratching frantically, was defeated. You are an idiot. Boom. Who are you calling an idiot? Knocked on the forehead, and Anko's face froze. The little kitten shrank together, you're not stupid. Boom. Why do you beat me again? I said you're not an idiot anymore. Boom. Don't talk nonsense, say useful, what do you want to tell me? 3 bursts of poppy smashed into the forehead, the little kitten was crying, and 2 lines of tears blurred her eyes. You also bully cats, you all bully cats, little human girl, you are an idiot, cats are active at night, you are big look for them during the day for a fur. The 2 little claws swiped and pulled hard, and when Anko's absent-minded little kitten fell to the ground and just wanted to run, it stopped. He was pulling his little claws like frizzy hair all over his body, and he couldn't get out no matter how much he pulled. Anko raised his foot and stepped on the cat's tail with a smile. Kitten cat, where are you going? They are all night owls, why are you different? I, said the little kitten in grief and indignation, I'm afraid of being beaten. Afraid of being beaten? What is the reason for this? Seeing Anko's puzzled expression, the little kitten was aggrieved and dragged its tail but didn't move, but explained helplessly, you think, they are all active at night, so I can't be beaten twice during the day. I'm being forced. Well, you know everything you want to know, can you let me go? Boom. Another storm knocked on the forehead. Anko lifted the little kitten again, how about we make a deal? It's good for you, What are the benefits of the horse? The dizzy little kitten shook as if drunk. Anko smiled, you teach me the secrets of the fire raccoon, and I'll help you beat those lazy cats. Can you beat them? The little kitten was not confused for a moment, looking at Anko as if looking at the angel who saved the world. Anko patted his chest hard, you can rest assured that I'm here. I don't worry, I just can't put my mind down, those cats are old and cruel. The sun went down and stretched out. After stretching and taking a bath, the fluttering cats in the water shook their bodies, and the eldest cat raised his paws. Go, brothers and sisters, go for doo-doo. Hit the peas. Hit the peas. They're coming. The body shrunk into a ball and the cat went into the teacup, and the little kitten shivered and hid itself under the table. Anko Hengdao immediately stood at the door, just about to say a few words. His eyes stuck and he wiped his body and ran away. That guy can also be called a cat. Go to him to aim, the old lady quit. The first update today, there is still in the afternoon, the cloud state is recovering well, take aim. Text chapter 263_changing situation. God gave me a pair of black eyes, but I use my nostrils to find tomorrow. The weak Liuman's eyes are empty, there is no light, his ears can't hear, his eyes can't see, he has no sense of touch, no sense of smell, and even his sense of taste is completely lost. The only thing that can be used is the sixth consciousness. Should you be happy? Shouldn't you be happy? If it wasn't for this, I'd probably be insane. Reaching out to touch Zaifeng's furry neck, the golden tiger lying beside him tilted his head and rubbed it. Liamong's hands froze, and he lay on his back in its arms. The water is still the same water, the sand is still the same sand, but the person is not the same person anymore. Are Hinata, Anko, Tamari okay? He took a deep breath and exhaled irritability. His head was empty, and there was nothing, as if he had died in an instant. The sun rises and the moon sets, day after day, just lying on the beach with the tiger on the pillow. The salty sea breeze blew the forehead that turned into a bald donkey, and the black body seemed to be charred. The feeling of being struck by lightning is very bad, and the feeling of being struck by lightning is even worse. The last rescue Gara woke up unexpectedly. Liamong knew how much trouble he had caused. God, I will be your eighth ancestor. Did the young master dig up your ancestral grave, or found out that your wife stole a man? Do you need to deal with me like this? Repulsion, repulsion all the time, repulsion every minute and every second. Just like a dwarf who fell into the water, a little frog thrown into a hot pot. Why did he treat me like this? Anger, depression, tangled feelings, crazy Liuman really wants to poke a hole in the sky. You have lost his conscience to you. I can't do anything with my middle finger raised high. My body that has been struck by lightning has become like charcoal. Drinking medicine is not good. Luck is not good. Doing anything is not good. There is no function of shit and shit. Flo Meng's heart cools. Interesting academy. What kind of thing is he now? A living dead, a zombie, or a monster? On the rushing coast, the crystal waves rushed to the shore, and the rising tide wave after wave. Zaifeng straightened up and shook his body and let out a tiger roar. A few frightened tidal waves raised their pliers and ran, dragging their 8 legs in a long trail on the sand. Liuman didn't move, and even though the cold sea water didn't pass over his feet, in fact, he couldn't even feel the cold. Gradually, the rising water did not reach his ankles, his knees and wrists. The golden tiger retreated not far away and roared. With 2 roars, he floated into the air and put his big head on his chest, not knowing what kind of madness the master had committed. Liamong raised his dry arm and touched it. The dark figure in the waves was 7 part ghost-like and 3 part monster-like, but none of it looked like a human being. Forget it, let's go and confirm some things first. He took out a black robe with a kabuto hat and wrapped it around his body and left the coast. The stray-ons put away the west wind and walked into the depths of the forest. A few days later, Feng Shui Fire 3 Kingdoms Border Bar. Boss, tell me the latest news. 2 large silver tickets were pushed across the table, and the bar owner raised his head, almost scared to death. The dark grimace mask under the jet black robe was glowing with Yuhi light, and the 2 gleaming eyes seemed to lead to the underworld. Wriggling and wriggling his throat, the bar owner took the wine bottle with a smile and poured a glass of Yan Yuhi. Guest please, this is the best blood Yuhi Mary, a collection of 35 years. Tell me the news. The glass in front of him didn't move, and the visitor didn't seem to be interested in it at all. The boss who flattered the horse's leg grinned and said with a low voice, a lot of big things have happened recently. First, the village of Karigakure was destroyed, then the village of Omegakure was slaughtered, and after that, Konoha was also hacked. That's the biggest ninja village. I didn't expect to say that people will destroy it, and people will destroy it. Quote. Tell me more about Konoha. 2 more silver tickets were pushed across the table, and the bar owner looked left and right in embarrassment, bit kiba and poured the beans, and talked about the matter with guesswork and vinegar. In the words, the heavenly path pain that destroyed Konoha and killed the 5th Hokage told immortal Jiraiya that day was blown into the sky. I'm telling you that this person is not ordinary. If you can't make the whole ninja world count, he has the most interests. You think, the 5 generations of Hokage have many interests. He is the leader of the largest ninja village and a man who has been famous for a long time. What happened? It's not like people hang up. From this, it can be seen that the interests of those attackers. I really don't know when there are so many ruthless people in Akatsuki's mainland. Hey, it seems that the days of peace are only a few days away. Thank you for the wine. The last silver ticket counted as a reward. Liamong pressed the mask and turned to leave the bar. The sun was shining on his body, and there was no trace of temperature. It seems impossible to inquire about Hinata and the others in such a place. Maybe. Snapped. We have to get Naruto back. He clapped his hands on the table twice and looked left and right. Might Guy angrily threw the teacup away. Nara Shikamaru Yamanaka Inoichi nodded, and Hyuga on the opposite side disagreed. 5 generations of Hokage died in battle, and the high-end combat power has plummeted. If the target Kyuubi, Nine-Tails, Jinchuriki, column force is recalled, it will bring big trouble to the village. If Akatsuki strikes again, who of you can stop him? I'm coming. Might Guy stood up with fire-breathing nostrils. The 2 Byakugan beads of the Hyuga Japanese were stunned. Might Guy Jonan's strength is obvious to all, but at best you are on the same level as the head of the Hatake family. Kakashi is dead in battle, what's the use of your top? I still have the 8 inner gates. Guy clenched his fists loudly, without any exasperation at being despised. The people in the tent stopped talking. They all understood what Might Guy meant. Nara Shikaku sighed. Are you sure? I'll do my best. Might Guy's eyes were determined to look one by one, and all the owners of the house were silent, and the cowardly ones didn't even dare to touch their eyes. Guy looked over and immediately turned aside. It's easy to say that you want to fight for your life for the village, but there are a few people who can really do it. That's not acceptable. Nara Shikaku shook his head in silence for a moment. Even if you open the 8th door, you won't necessarily kill those monsters. Lord Jiraiya has destroyed them many times, and as a result. Are those guys undead? No, there must be something we haven't considered. Perhaps the key is in the main body. After spitting out the guesses that he had been thinking about for several days, Nara Shikaku took a deep look at Hyuga, and the Hyuga Patriarch's face tightened slightly. Pupil, Ino Shika Cho's heart skipped a beat. These eye-catching men really have a different heart. Trouble, big trouble. The second update, Union just came back from outside, let's cheer together. Text chapter 264_blessings under the setting sun, I wish you a regret-free life. Itachi. Yangtian roared and fell to his knees. Urzuzi raised his head blankly, and there was nothing in front of him. Baidu Interesting Academy. Dead, just like that. So funny, so funny. Are you not a genius? Are you not a genius from the Uchiha family? Why did you just die like this? The 10 fingers pressed on the ground slowly gathered, and Sasuke, who made 2 paw prints, clenched the soil in his palm, and his bleeding eyes were empty and out of focus. The target that has been chasing, the back that has been chasing, suddenly disappeared. Why not be happy? Shouldn't you be happy? Why not get excited? Shouldn't you be excited? Great revenge, how can it be empty? Is he really dead? The wind whipped up the whimpering sand and blew across the plain. Orochimaru, the cat in the ground, hissed twice. It always felt too strange. 000, Itachi shouldn't have died so easily. But it doesn't look like it's fake. Wait a minute. Wait. 3rd class. The more you wait, the more impatient. To go up or not to go up. The weak Urzuzi staggered 2 steps and slowly got up, found a shady place and sat down, his eyes staring blankly. The burning sun shines on his tired body, indescribable loneliness and loneliness. Somehow I remembered what Kakashi said, that anyone who aims for revenge will not have good results. Oh, you're absolutely right. Looking up blankly at the sunset, Sasuke, who had lost his life's pursuit, froze there. What's next? As if nothing needed to be done, as if nothing needed from him. No one needs, no one cares. When Itachi dies, Sasuke suddenly finds that his life is such a failure. Mobile reading is more convenient. m.heihei168.com. Father, Mother, remembering the little things when I was a child, the corners of Ursukako's empty eyes overflowed with tears. Inexplicably, I touched the kunai. Lowering his eyes, he gently stroked the icy sharp blade, and the black sword body was cold to his heart. What is this kid going to do? The dark golden vertical pupils suddenly shrank and quickly floated up, and Orochimaru grabbed Sasuke's hand that was stabbing his throat. You're crazy. I'm not crazy, I just found myself tired and crooked. Don't you want my body? I'll give it to you. A snap, Orochimaru held Kunai's hand, and Ursukako raised his head indifferently. If you want, take it. Ha 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 ha. Coldly caressing his forehead, he burst into laughter, and Orochimaru burst into tears. Urzuzi asked in a twitchy face, what are you laughing at? I'm laughing at myself. Hissing Yuhi's tongue and licking his lips, Orochimaru lowered his gaze and fixed his eyes. I once lost to your brother, so I became interested in Kekkei Genkei, or Sharingan, of your family. Who is unstoppably mad about it, thinking that as long as he has such eyes, he can search for the truth of the world. With a wave of his hand, his long black hair fluttered, Sanin Lenkun opened his heart in the setting sun. The old man once commented on me, saying that I am a genius who has only been born for decades, and I have always thought so. What do you think? What do you think of me? You're a hopeless lunatic, a psychopath in my eyes. Sasuke, how dare you say that? What's the point of speaking harshly to a dying person? Orochimaru, Sharingan, whatever, you want to take it anyway. His eyes looked down indifferently and he laughed twice, and the second assistant grabbed Lois in a lonely way. The dry clod was held in his hand, and with a little force, it turned into sand and slipped from the gap between the fingers in a line. Once the wind blows, the solitary line floats obliquely. Orochimaru looked down at the boy who gave up his resistance, and suddenly lost interest. Thinking back to the past 50 years, a surge of self-deprecation came to my mind. The head of Sanin, the name of Lenkun, how could someone of his age be bound by a single blow? Funny, really funny. But good gain to get a pair of Sharingan. Have you made up your mind? Come on, I can't wait to pay for the liberation of death. The Avengers will be destroyed by hatred, I understand now. Itachi. Slowly closing her eyes to welcome death, Ursukako walked with exceptional ease. Orochimaru got his hands on it. The big white-scaled snake that came out of its mouth circled twice with a ferocious face, and slammed into the curse mark of the sky. A gentle breeze blew across the wasteland, and the boy with his back against the wall opened his eyes. This body is good, and Sharingan. The fishy Yuhi eyes that opened suddenly, the three black tomo slowly spun. Orochimaru stood up satisfied. Just as he was about to leave, an illusory figure stopped in front of him. You really aren't dead. Uchiha Itachi. The blurred eyes were cold and without any temperature, and Ursukezi's brother launched an attack silently. Simple, effective, fast. Siwei Shenhai Wuyin. Kaden Fire Style, Great Fireball Jutsu. The right hand hidden under the black fire cloud robe swayed slightly, and a large fireball slammed towards the opposite side. Orochimaru, who sank into the ground to avoid it, turned his neck. The new body is a little uncomfortable. Itachi, are you so eager to get your brother's body back? Kaden Fire Style, Yuhi. Ding 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 ding, darts burst out a little spark. Orochimaru, who drew his sword, lowered his tone. Itachi, you asked for it yourself. Orochimaru, choosing Sasuke is the biggest mistake of your life. Mangekyo. Psychic. After several fights, Orochimaru summoned the coffin that was supposed to prevent accidents, and Itachi opened the triangular windmill Sharingan. The raging wind whimpered across the valley, and the battle came to an end when the first floor of Uehua fell into the world. Opposite the white monster with 8 heads and 8 tails, the dark god raised his sharp blade. The monster was terrified, and it recognized the weapon. Anger, fear, resentment. You figure it out early in the morning. Orochimaru, you who tried to peep into the blood of Uchiha are doomed to perish. It's time to end it all. The tired body swayed and stood still. Itachi looked at the fallen figure gently. No matter what you choose in the future, I will always love you deeply. Sasuke, may you have a life without regrets. Brother is tired, this time is really tired. Tom. The 3rd chapter, there is at least one more chapter. The cloud will squint first, the fight was too hard yesterday. Text chapter 265_Unstoppable Love. Kitten Cat, tell me the truth, that guy is really of the same race as you. You wouldn't be an illegitimate child, would you? Who said that? The little kitten waved its paws angrily. Baidu Interesting Academy. Anko gestured in disbelief. It's so big and you're so small, you still say you're a family. First, point your toes above your head, and then lower your body to the ground. The little kitten looked at Anko angrily, flipped through Byakugan and glanced. How old am I? Less than a year old. How old is that guy? There are hundreds of them, can we compare them together? What? You said that guy is several hundred. Yeah, the little kitten opened his mouth and yawned cutely. That guy is 50 yashira away from me in terms of seniority. How old are you? OMG, that big cat actually. No, if it's your ancestor, why would it beat you? That's a tradition. The little kitten raised her eyelids dejectedly. Every cat has been beaten by it, so every cat wants to beat other cats. I can only bully the little one, and I am the youngest. Quote. Talented. Too talented. Your ancestor is so naughty. The little kitten stuck out its tongue and licked its little paws. You know our pain, cats like to play, and the old ones like to play even more. When I have cousins in the future, I will play with them too. I even thought of a name. Now, the next one will be called Yo-Yo regardless of male or female. Eat, sleep, roll around. Drops of cold sweat slid down his cheeks, and Anko suddenly realized that these civet cats are a group of scourges, not only harming themselves, but also harming others. Interesting Academy. Kitten Cat, did you take the name of the next newborn in your clan? Yes, this is also a tradition. The little kitten gave Anko a white look. The names of our Fire Raccoon clan are all taken by the previous clan. What about twins? Just take 2. What if the time difference is not too big? Then take it bigger. The older one should be very happy, it doesn't need to be bullied. Fuck, fight the same way, it's also a tradition. Kitten Cat. Anko smiled and hugged the little kitten, and the little kitten who found that something was wrong blinked and struggled, and the 4 little paws were scratching up and down. Aim. Do not bully aiming, bully dead aiming, aim at aim. I'll let you aim again. Pulling off the head rope and tying the struggling kitten into a ball, Anko grabbed the tail and lifted it up in the air. The kitten turned into a ball in grief and indignation. The pinecone in its mouth swallowed and couldn't swallow it. Spit, can't spit out, whimpering in vain. I bully the cat too much, and let the cat live. I want to appeal, I want. A head popped into the forehead. Anko carried the kitten into the pine cone forest. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed, and through the news from the Kama Itachi clan, the 3 sisters learned that Omegakure Konoha had been destroyed successively. Sister, shall we go to my brother? The stinky boy doesn't know what's going on. We'll start tomorrow. Fire, Konoha Hidden Village. Yii, who has been left alone since she arrived, sat beside a tree. Samui with blonde hair and blue eyes and big breasts looks at the sky. Yuhi sends Kurui from the airport with golden pupils to look at the clouds, and Omoi, who always loves a lollipop in his mouth, looks at the sky. What the hell is going on with Konoha? Shouldn't a new leader be elected at a time like this? We've been here for a week, except for a Jonin on the first day to receive him, and we haven't heard anything. Or we can go back, it's been so long. Not even a pretty girl confessed to me, it's a shame, it's not scientific. According to the laws of science, this shouldn't happen. Alright, as you are as black as hell, will the pretty girl like you? Kurui, don't be lazy, old sow, how can you be whiter than me? Omoi turned his head angrily, looked up and down and sneered, you're only 50 steps away from laughing. 100 steps, put us together under the fluorescent tube, I am the opaque teacup, and you are the bitter coffee in that cup. Quote. Omoi, you're going to die for my mother. Yunliu flying leg. Kurui, you're really playing. Okay, you two, Tenten can't be noisy enough, just live together, annoying. Samui. The screams of a man and a woman spread far and wide, and the specially appointed nurses who were busy dying sat together. Sakura, I heard from my father last night that the village of Kumogakure came to ask for information on Sasuke. What did they want Sasuke's information for? Haruno Sakura felt tight and had a bad premonition. Ino gave her a worried look. I heard that Sasuke took Raikage's younger brother away, and they decided to investigate the matter themselves. What? Sasuke took Raikage's brother away, when did that happen? Just a while ago. Ino shook off his golden bangs and sighed, Sakura, you should give up, Sasuke is not suitable for you. Ino. Sakura, you have to recognize the reality. Ino turned his head and pressed Haruno Sakura's shoulder. First love is always painful and fruitless. Instead of struggling to find impossible love, it is better to choose to let go. Ino, you. Give it up, Sasuke really doesn't suit you, the distance between you is too far. Patting his friend comfortingly, he got up and left, and the purple-haired girl walked to the emergency room. The afternoon sun shone on her body, but she couldn't stop the sadness in Sakura's heart. Want to let go? After thinking for a long time, Haruno Sakura lowered her head, and the two spiritual bodies in her head fell into silence. A rustling breeze blew through the canopy of the tree, and Sakura threw his fists violently. Let Sasuke go over there. There are so many handsome guys in the village, we can't hang them on a tree with a crooked neck. Shut up, you mad woman, it's not easy to find a man like Sasuke, and besides, I can't let it go. You can let go of being an old lady, but can we catch up? It's been down a few times, and people don't give a shit about us. I know I'm no longer reserved in front of him, but I just like to have a way. Wake up and upload it quickly. Brothers and sisters, come on, sleep well tomorrow and continue to work hard. Text chapter 266_ The alliance between the two groups. Everyone in Konoha. The interesting academy debuts. Samui walked into the tent and looked around in circles, although it's a bit inhuman to say such a thing at this time, but we are on the mission of Lord Raikage, and we can't wait like this forever. Give a clear answer and don't delay any longer. Quote. I'm very sorry, everyone. Nara Shikaku looked around and got up helplessly. Why should I be Hokage's secret staff? This status is really troublesome. Emissary from Kumogakure, please allow us a little longer, Konoha is in trouble. It's messy and we need to be patient to discuss it. Quote. Tom. No need for discussion. Who? Shuaishuan turned to look at the door. The two masked ninjas opened the tent, and the three old guys walked in. The one walking in front was wearing a crutch and half of his head was bandaged, just like a mummy. The one in the back was dying with a bitter face, and the other was crying. Seeing them, the Konoha clan chiefs lost their composure. In the name of the sixth Hokage, it was announced that Konoha immediately entered a state of war, and the messenger of Kumogakure village showed the old man the letter from Lord Raikage. You are the newly elected Hokage? Samui asked uncertainly as he turned his head to look at the pale clan chiefs. Homura Mitokado, who was half a stature behind, coughed twice. This is an appointment letter from the daimyo. As our advisor, Shimura Danzo has been officially appointed as the sixth generation Hokage. The Fire Nation's famous warrant that he took out from his arms was circulated for a week, and the patriarchs of all ethnic groups who read the letter looked at each other in dismay. While Hyuga Hiyashi leaned over and said slightly, "To advisors, Hokage nomination requires more than half of the village Jonin to vote together, and we don't seem to have nominated this guy." Baidu Interesting Academy. There was a trace of respect in the words and no tears. Hyuga Hiyashi stared at Shimura Danzo with contempt. The old guy stood there with an expressionless face, and Kaharu Udatane took the words angrily. Special case, the previous Hokage died in battle, and Konoha suffered heavy losses. At this time, a new Hokage must come out to preside over the overall situation. A new Hokage. That's good, Hyuga Hiyashi said. In the name of the head of the Hyuga clan, I have elected Might Guy Jonin to be the 6th generation Hokage. Second, the raised arm raised after Chi brushed himself up, and Kaharu Udatane Homura Mitokado's face changed immediately. We also agree. Looking sideways at the group of patriarchs headed by the eye-catching man, Nara Shikaku also raised his arms. Yamanaka Inoichi, Akamichi Choji followed closely, and the remaining patriarchs raised their hands one after another. Looking at the proposal that was passed unanimously in the blink of an eye, the 3 old immortals have black faces, as black as they want. Might Guy opened his mouth and looked back. Thousands and 10,000 people couldn't figure it out, how in the blink of an eye, he became the 6th generation Hokage candidate. Is this youth? Youth is full of surprises. But Hokage seems to be very troublesome. But forget it, instead of letting that old guy take the throne, it's better for me to do it. Konoha Might's blood is boiling. Snort. You want to disobey the daimyo's warrant. The old face froze and snorted coldly. Homura Mitokado stepped forward angrily. At this time, you should focus on the overall situation. As the chiefs of various clans, how can you be so chaotic? Now Konoha, what is needed is stability. Quote. It is precisely because Konoha needs stability that we will choose a new Hokage. Hyuga Hiyashi refused to give in, and simply played confrontation, accusing him outright. The day Akatsuki attacked the 2 elders of the village and disappeared, when Konoha needed you the most. You're not here, and today you brought this sinner back to the throne, as if it's not the first time you've done something like this. Hyuga Hiyashi, you are presumptuous. Boom. It's me being presumptuous, are you being shameless? No one can be Hokage. His eyes suddenly burst open. Hyuga Hiyashi looked at Shimura Danzo fiercely, and suddenly he realized that something was wrong. That chakra, what are you doing, old guy? Picking up the teacup placed on the table and smashing it at the door, the patriarchs of the various clans who heard the shouting looked sideways. Show your Sharingan and use the pupil technique in such a place. Shimura Danzo, who are you trying to trick? Tang stood up and assumed a defensive posture, and the patriarchs who knew the inside story got up one after another. Shimura Danzo raised his eyes. Do you want to rebel? This old man is the 6th generation Hokage personally assigned by the daimyo, and he will be executed for the crime of disobedience. Aha! You are the 6th generation Hokage appointed by the daimyo, how come we don't know? The warrant placed on the table was torn off, and Might Guy swallowed it with one mouth. With a thud, everyone was stunned. Quote. Might Guy, you. What are you? Kiba raised his head brightly. Guy raised his eyebrows. The black face of Kaharu Udatane followed up with Africa at that time. For a moment, the 2 groups headed by Hyuga Hiyashi Ino Shikacho showed smiles one after another, and it seemed not bad to choose such a Hokage. Although Guy is sometimes unreliable, sometimes there are surprises. Losing the big name warrant, these 3 old guys lost their righteousness. Looking back, you can make a time difference to determine his identity. With the joint recommendation of the patriarchs of various ethnic groups, even if the big name is not happy, he will not be hard. Guy did this thing too beautifully. Looking at the sudden changes in front of him, Samui pinched Lord Raikage's handwriting and didn't know who to give it to. Are these Konoha ninjas doing? What's going on? The corners of his eyes turned away from the 3 livid-faced old guys, and then he turned back to look at the group of patriarchs on the opposite side. With a headache, he simply put the letter on the table. As soon as the letter was put down, both hands stretched out. Snapped. Old guy, you are already very old. You are an old coffin board, so don't argue with young people. Be careful if your breath is not smooth, it's not good to suffocate it all at once. The first half of the body to slap the letter on the table, Might Guy slapped the big kiba and stared at Shimura Danzo. The rattling curtains floated high, making people chaotic. Kaharu Udatane Homura Mitokado glanced at him, never expecting things to turn out like this. The messenger of Kumogakure village, we will send the information about Uchiha Sasuke and Uchiha Itachi brothers to your residence later. Guy opened the letter and first agreed to Raikage's request, then the conversation changed, but because of time question, there may be some incomprehensibility, please forgive me. Quote. First more. Text chapter 267_surging undercurrent. Boom. Tamari's silver kiba, who slapped the table with a slap to figure out the actual situation, clenched tightly. Kankuro shed 2 drops of cold sweat in embarrassment. Sister, don't blame Gaara for this. I didn't tell you the idea, blame me. It's easier to read on mobile phones m.heihei168.com. What's the use of blaming you? I still can't find anyone. What are you doing for food? Tears dripping down her pretty face, Tamari turned around and left as soon as she finished the call. Gaara Kankuro lowered his head when he saw her leaving back. We didn't want to look for someone, we couldn't find it at all. Sister, the brat is really missing. Sitting by the window without a word, Tamari's silence gave Enko a great blow. The little secretary Hinata, who was holding the water glass, trembled, and there was a crisp sound on the ground. The broken teacup was torn apart and splashed with water, and the hearts of the 3 girls were tangled together. Let's go to him. Sister Enko, let's go back to the snow country first. What are you doing back there? Enko looked at Tamari suspiciously. Hukun has formed forces there. Rather than blindly searching, it's better to launch those gangsters. Are they useful? Enko frowned slightly, and those unsightly guys appeared in his head. Tamari nodded affirmatively, at least there are more of them. Losing the airship, it would take a lot of time to rush from the land of wind to the land of snow on 2 legs. Just as the 3 girls were on their way, Liamong and Zaihua met at a restaurant. Don't come here, third young master. It's easier to read on mobile phones m.heihei168.com. How about you, brother? It doesn't matter, it's just a minor injury. The mask that terrified people to death was put on again, and Lu Meng sat cross-legged at the table. The third young master of the big name, who was scared to death, took the wine glass twice and did not pick it up, the warm spicy splashes on his hands and chilled into the bottom of his heart. Brother, you are now. Activate all the forces to find your 3 sisters-in-law, and I want to get their news as soon as possible. In addition, you can target me a few people. Of Fire, Konoha Ninja Village. After the confrontation during the day, the 2 factions that were originally divided into 2 reunite. The Hyuga family's mansion is home to dignitaries from the 2 factions. Hyuga Hiyashi looked around for a week and took the lead. Shimura Danzo must be expelled, that guy will do anything to become Hokage. And his character is too strong, he is the leader of the martial arts faction. Konoha needs to rest now, he can't let him mess around. It's impossible. Nara Shikaku sighed. After all, he is the new Hokage appointed by the daimyo. It's okay for us to push Guy out to fight him in the ring, but we can't take drastic actions against him, which is tantamount to provoking the daimyo. A challenge is a challenge. Our Konoha and the daimyo have a bad relationship anyway. A small family patriarch said bitterly, don't forget the dispute between the 2 Jades. The sinner is sent back, and we must not compromise. I support the proposal of the Hyuga clan, he must be driven away, it is better to kill him, it is a curse to keep him. Quote. Patriarch Dongmao, you are too excited. Nara Shikaku raised the glass troublesomely. The power of the village can no longer be spent on infighting. Danzo is insidious and cunning. If he dares to come back as Hokage, he must have his trump card. Then let him stay here and continue to harm people. Haven't you been harmed enough by him? This is also something that can't be helped. The patriarch of a certain family sitting behind Yamanaka Inoichi took over. The village's strength has plummeted, and famous Jonin like Kakashi have all died in the attack. To prevent Akatsuki from invading again and other countries born, the first thing we have to do is to strengthen the strength. Shimura Danzo is hateful, but Konoha can't do without him right now. Quote. You still believe that bastard? Patriarch Dongmao slapped the table angrily. Nara Shikaku looked at his twisted face and sighed, it's not a matter of believing or not, we need his strength. Konoha, who had lost almost half of its manpower, couldn't be any lower in strength. How could civil strife happen again at this time? Hyuga Hiyashi was silent for a moment, and stopped the East Mao patriarch, who was still trying to speak, with his eyes, and the two parties reached an agreement in silence for a long time. The dim candlelight dragged three long figures. Homura Mitokado blew his beard and stared at him half deadly. It's so outrageous, how can they treat us like this? Eyelids and looked out. Kaharu Udatane put his hands together. Don't get angry. You can't change their decision even if you get angry. Now the key question is how to get them to nod. Let's go to the Five Shadow Talks. What? Participate in the Five Shadows Talks. The two old faces faced each other in amazement, and Kaharu Udatane Homura Mitokado was stunned by Danzo's sudden words. As long as the old man attends the Five Shadow Talks, the identity of the old man can be determined, and they have to recognize it if they don't recognize it. Can this be done? Homura Mitokado, Kaharu Udatane was a little disbelieving. Shimura Danzo stared at the night sky outside the door with his one eye exposed. With the support of the daimyo, it is inevitable for this old man to ascend to the seat of Hokage. After the established facts are established, they must recognize them even if they don't recognize them, as long as we win for the village during the talks. If they have enough interests, they will lose their reasons for opposing. When you are introduced, you will be able to fight one faction, and you will have a firm position. Quote. Are you sure? Of course, the old man has been waiting for this day for a long time. We will set off now. Now. Two pairs of old eyes staring at the dark night. Kaharu Udatane Homura Mitokado has the heart of scolding mother. Set off in the middle of the night, what do you think in your head? Shimura Danzo stood up and explained, time waits for no one. We have to get a head start before they can identify Guy, otherwise we will be passive. After waving and calling several hidden subordinates, the three old guys left the village overnight. The family patriarchs such as Hyuga Hiyashi, Nara Shikaku who got the news were all stunned. At this time, they went out of the village. Not good. Patriarch Hyuga, we must inform Guy to leave immediately, they are going to the Five Shadows meeting. Suddenly standing up and knocking over the water glass on the table, Nara Shikaku clenched his fists when he saw sweat on his forehead. Danzo, hello shameless calculation. In the second update, brothers and sisters, work hard together. The Cloud will publish a new book in 2 days, and I hope everyone can support it. A two-dimensional story of a wretched fat man. The title of the book will be announced tomorrow, and it is infinitely comprehensive. Text Chapter 268 _ the leaders of the powder debut. 4, 5, 6, 15 o'clock. Master, you can't gamble anymore. Baidu Interesting Academy. Fragrance scale, get out of the way. Grabbed the wallet and slapped it on the table. Senju Tsunade counted the bills with a thick face on Yuhi's neck. Boss, exchange me for another 500,000 chips. Okay, wait a minute, you'll be ready soon. Crashing dice bang. He stopped again, and Hegwon looked left and right and removed the color cup. 1, 2, 3, 6 small. Damn, why is it that the old lady pushes the big and it is small, and the old lady pushes the small and it is big? Is this stick against the old lady? No, I have to do it again. This time I'm overwhelmed. Crash small. This time I'll be small. Whooping big. Damn, does this dice have to be against me? Give it to me again. Lord Tsunade, we are out of money. What? No money anymore. Senju Tsunade, whose empty wallet was turned over and couldn't pour out even a coin, got excited and left the gaming table while scolding. What a hell of luck, since that bastard disappeared, this princess's luck has gotten worse and worse. Oops, just when the guy comes back. What a worrying bastard, don't know if I love him to death. Master Tsunade. Master. Bastard, what are your eyes? I mean I love his money, do you think I'll like that bastard? Shizune. Karen. Like it or not, only you know. The embarrassment turned into a rage, and a brain collapsed, boom. Boom. Senju Tsunade, who had knocked twice, took a big step away, her two ponytails floating high, and she was stunned for a moment. Shizune, Karen follow. The Land of Fire, Konoha Hidden Village. Guy, are you taking these two young people to the meeting? Nara Shikaku murmured, looking left at Tenten and right at Little Lee. Might Guy's big board Kiba lit up. Don't worry, as my disciples, they are very strong. Interesting academy. Lee. Mr. Guy. Lee. Mr. Guy. Tenten. Shikaku. Here they are again. It doesn't look like insurance. Lee, let's go to youth. Yes, Mr. Guy, my youth is boiling. Whoosh. Whoosh. Tenten, hurry up and keep up. Ooh, the teacher is going to speed up. Dumbly turned her head and blinked. The girl with 10,000 grass and mud horses running through her mind covered her forehead and followed. This idiot's master, who has become a Hokage, is so rude. Shikaku, is it really okay for us to choose him as Hokage? I thought maybe there would be a little bit of a problem. How much is a little? A little is a little, you are so annoying. Inoichi. Choza. Sparta. The Land of Water, the village of Kurigakure. Ow, Chojuro, hurry up and pack your bags. Mizukage-sama, wait a minute, you have too many things to bring. Are you questioning my decision? This is not. It's not that you are long-winded, hurry up and pack those things for me. Chanjuro, you go, you stay outside for me. She coquettishly stopped the onion who wanted to enter the house, and the beauty looked back at the distant sky. That kid will be safe, I hope to get news from him this time. Mizukage-sama, what are you bringing? What do you bring bananas to a meeting? Banana. The Land of Winds, Sunagakure Village. Kankuro, you are too slow. Maki-sensei, please wait a moment, the assembly of the new crow is very troublesome, and it will be done right away. The pipe wrench and carefully installing the last needle, the Sunagakure puppet master unrolled the storage scroll. Under the scorching sun and the sand, the Sunagakure sent to the entrance of the village waved goodbye. Kazekage-sama is small. Lord Kankuro, Maki-sama, please. I know, you people are too enthusiastic, I really miss the cold days. Then again, Gaara doesn't need protection at all. Turning his head, he waved his hands and left, and Kankuro and Maji were behind Gaara. Let's go. Kankuro, Gaara is very popular right now. That is, who made him my brother? You're such a jerk. Mr. Maki, this is pride, okay. Proud stinky fart. Teacher, brother, hurry up, as a junior, it's not good to be late. Land of the Earth, Iwagakure Village. Kuretsuchi, the terracotta is all up to you. Lord Tsuchikage, kill all the leaders of the other hidden villages in one fell swoop. Long live Lord Tsuchikage. Long live. Long live. Back at the frenzied villagers, Kurathashi's little face really turned into Kuretsuchi. You have a lot of respected people, what kind of 5 shadow talks are you going to attend? Grandpa, you've had enough glory in your life, so hurry up and retire. Are you sure your old waist can do it for such a long journey? Good granddaughter, don't look down on Grandpa. Grandpa is still very young and can work for at least another 20 years. The third generation Tsuchikage said a comparison. Kurathashi is really second now. 20 years, just like you, 2 years can't be called. Seeing the suspicion in his granddaughter's eyes, the third-generation Tsuchikage became angry. Taketu, give me the bomb box, so that this little girl can watch the movie. The old man is still very healthy. Lord Tsuchikage, do you still want it? Hurry up and bring it. Okay, watch your waist. The 1-foot square box was placed on the ground, and for 2 days, Onoki tightened the straps tightly, and began to exert force with his beard and eyes. Together, do not get up. 2. I haven't gotten up yet. Click 3. Grandpa. Lord Tsuchikage. Grandpa, what's wrong with you? The old man is fine, you can do your own salute. What are we doing? With both hands out, he put the box and the old man behind him. Kai too, who was fatter than the two Chojis together, laughed. Don't be so arrogant, junior sister, let's go. Hey, let me down. Do you hear me? I can do it. You don't need to worry about it. Damn young man, don't look down on the old man. The old man is a terrifying 2-2 scale Onoki. Hey, do you hear me? This old stubborn, really stubborn, brother, hurry up. Please do your best, Tsuchikage-sama. The Land of Thunder, Kumogakure Village. Haven't contacted Team Samui yet. Yes, but they already knew that you were going to participate in the 5 Shadows talks. Even if they can't get in touch, they will contact us when the time comes. Well then, it's time for me to go too. Tarui, keep up. Yes. Okay. Unable to cope, Tarui, who was groping his hair, was about to walk to the door when the sound of glass breaking came from behind. Azabui, who was holding a folder in his hand, went berserk. You bastard, a glass can hold 8 chairs. I tell you, your monthly money is gone this month. Chapter 3, and another chapter tonight. Text chapter 269_ accidentally fell into black hands. Send out all the reconnaissance troops, and be sure to find Master Kuchiki in the shortest possible time. Baidu Interesting Academy. Left the throne with a wave of his hand, Kazuhana Koyuki drove out all the palace ministers, and sat back on the throne alone to start a daze. I want a child. It's impossible, you're dreaming. Anko shivered with anger in the memory. Kazuhana Koyuki sighed pitifully. I only want a child and a title that belongs to him, and I don't ask for anything else. Can't you meet me with such a small request? I won't fight or rob you. I just want a child of his to inherit this country. Quote. There are so many men in the snow country, you can't find anyone who wants to have a child, why do you have to focus on the brat? Kazuhana Koyuki, I tell you, there is no way to do this. Anko jumped angrily, his gray-brown pupils squirting. 00, is on fire. Kazuhana Koyuki sighed again, the country of snow is a country in the cracks. Although it is close to the sea on both sides, it has no deep water pier. On the land, there are 2 kingdoms of thunder and fire, and there is a danger of being engulfed at any time. The constant snow has long become a delicacy in their mouths. If I want the country to continue to exist, I must have someone to rely on. Quote. That's why you fight Britism, is that your calculation? That's right. Kazuhana Koyuki made no secret of his thoughts. I just want to rely on his reputation, so that Shuizhang can have a neutral identity, at least when he is still alive. The 2 kingdoms of thunder and fire will not cause any harm. Heart. I didn't need to be in such a hurry at first, as long as I have the patience to create an accident, but now time waits for no one. What did you say? Do you still want to create an accident? Anko Silver Kiba bit, his nose crooked with anger. Do you still want shame? For the sake of the country, what is a little face? Kazuhana Koyuki smiled indifferently, and Tamari Hinata's face turned black. Interesting Academy. The little secretary didn't do much, just a little angry, but Tamari didn't care about that. How can you be so shameless, because you are still the head of a country? It is because I am the lord of a country that I have to do this. Kazuhana Koyuki was not at all angry after being accused. The loss of Konoha Hidden Village's strength will inevitably lead to an imbalance of power between the 2 kingdoms of thunder and fire. Over the years, Leiji has the country's comprehensive development of military reserves has far surpassed that of other countries. Once Konoha's side is over, they will definitely start sending troops. At that time, the snow country will take the lead. Three sisters, Koyuki has no choice for this country of ice and snow. I hope you will agree to this unreasonable request. To the ground as the lord of a country, Enko Tamari Hinata was completely stunned. If it were other things, biting Kiba would have responded, but letting their men have children with other women made them unbearable. No woman can be so generous, and the three of them can come together by accident. One of the most important points is that Hinata is timid and tolerant by nature, and is very considerate and accommodating. If it was them who made the first move, Liamong would never want to touch the second woman in his life. Faced with this rude but righteous request now, the awkwardness in their hearts, not to mention how uncomfortable it is. Promise or not? Discussing for a long time, Enko came forward and gave the answer. It's hard for us to be women. When the brat comes back, talk to him yourself. If he agrees, we won't see it. If he doesn't agree, you will die. Thank you, three sisters. Kazuhana Koyuki gave her a deep salute again, tears welling up on Kazuhana Koyuki's face. There is no man who is not stealing. As long as Enko Tamari and Hinata are settled, she will naturally have a way to deal with it. An accident, an encounter, Kazuhana Koyuki believes in his own wrist. Izumi's bathroom under the passage leading to the border of the Iron Country. Can it be cured? What the hell did you do? Judging by your physical condition, you are already dead now. Senju Tsunade bit the tip of her thumb, nibbling on it for a while. Liamong, who was lying on the bed with red fruit all over his body, couldn't help showing a wry smile. He showed his head a little that day to attract this fat goat who was crazy about money and gambling. He thought there would be any hope, but it turned out to be empty. Senju Tsunade suddenly said after thinking for a long time, Shizune record, no. Special experimental body, the body's skin and muscles are necrotic, the heart stops beating, and the breathing and blood flow are lost. Further anatomical examination is required, and preparations will be carried out immediately. Hey, hello, my good sister, what do you want to do? Liamong listened to a series of medical terms, and his head couldn't help tingling. Senju Tsunade smiled and pulled out a scalpel. Liamong panicked when he saw this thing. What are you doing? Don't worry, my good brother, elder sister will not harm you. Senju Tsunade stretched out his hand, and his slender and powerful 5 hands firmly pressed Liamong's chest that he wanted to lift. As the pinnacle of the world's medical apex, Tsunadehime is very familiar with the human body. Lu Meng panicked. He felt like a frog stared at by a poisonous snake, and a field mouse stared at by an owl. Your sister, this woman's eyes are not normal. Thinking of something bad, he struggled frantically, and Liamong was turned into a character by Senju Tsunade without moving a few times. Don't worry, my good brother, my sister will definitely cure you. Shizune, Karen, prepare the surgical tools. Master Tsunade. Shizune looked around worriedly, are we going to perform surgery here? Don't worry, this kid is already dead, there is no problem of infection, we don't need to sterilize it, we just use the tools to dry. Karen, bring this princess's medical kit. The portable surgical box placed on the edge of the stone platform was unfolded. The box made of ebony wood has a total of 8 layers, and they were separated to form a flat surface. The silver above was shining brightly, and the dazzling head was blown up. My good sister, let's stop playing, okay? I'm dizzy. Stop talking, my sister will treat you now. Shizune, laparotomy, Karen is ready to assist. Yes, Master Tsunade. Master, I understand. I understand your sister. Brother is dead. Brother to appeal. Brother wants to complain to you, you wait for me. The new book in the cloud is ready, and it will be uploaded the day after tomorrow, which is the monthly number. Jieshi also hopes that everyone will join in. Cloud will bring joy to everyone with a new look. Text chapter 270 _ you shouldn't be back. Why do we have to transcribe these stinky and long materials by ourselves, and our wrists are tired? According to the scientific theorem of Baidu Interesting Academy, it is very likely to suffer from meningitis, and suffering from meningitis will affect the flexibility of the wrist. The flexibility of the wrist will affect the use of the sword, and if it affects the use of the sword, mistakes will be made in battle, mistakes may be finished, and the end may be lost. Quote. Shut up, you long-winded guy, do you know that you are more annoying than middle-aged women, and I will kill you if you write so much more. Kurui, correct me, I'm a man and can't become a middle-aged woman. On the contrary, you will become that kind of thing in 10 or 8 years. According to scientific theorem, with your hot temper, when the time comes I'm afraid it's 100 times more annoying than me. Oh my, do you want to die? Okay, you too, ninjas should be cooler, hurry up and copy, get out of here, annoying. Raising his eyelids, he glanced at the two noisy teammates, and Samui stopped their noise. Not far away, the Konoha intelligence officer in charge of the reception reminded in cold sweat, I'm sorry everyone, the village has not enough eyes and eyes, so I can only trouble you to copy it yourself. Also, please keep quiet, no noise is allowed here. Understood, we'll try to be as quiet as possible. There's no one else, annoying. Another annoying word, Samui decisively inherited the strength of the Kumogakur ninja. The Konoha intelligence officer opened his mouth in embarrassment, feeling a little irritated in his heart. Saying sorry is just a polite word, these Kumogakur are really pushing their noses and faces, so don't blame me for being rude. Hades is good to see, and little devils are difficult to deal with. Anyway, they are ninjas from hostile countries. The intelligence officer who is angry with one hand draws a hand, and the information about Uchiha Itachi and Sasuke is 1/10 less. Don't look at 1/10 inconspicuous, but less is the key point. Not letting you die a few more people is worthy of your temper. The intelligence officer is also angry. After being busy for a long time, shaking his sore wrist, Omoi, who had written the last word, shouted excitedly, it's finally over, it's more laborious than helping the master to hold a concert, and I won't do this in the future. The matter. Baidu Interesting Academy. Okay, hurry up and pack up and start, we're already far behind, hurry up. Knowing the eldest sister, can you stop the collapse of the word by word all day long? This is a ninja, understand? Ah, scratch, 2 words. Omoi, do you want to challenge the majesty of the captain? No, big sister, I never wanted to do such a troublesome job. You did a good job. According to the theorem of science, you can do it for at least another 50 years. You can do it slowly, and when you don't want to do it, just do it. Give it to this firewood girl, and then I can apply for retirement. Who are you calling the firewood girl? Omoi, make it clear to me. Ding Guang hit the information room with a violent hammer, and the 3 apprentices of Killer Bee ran to the 3-wolf mountain noisily. Looking at the backs of them leaving, the intelligence officer took out 2 scrolls from his sleeves and weighed them, the corners of his mouth smiling like a good person. At the gate of Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki stared at the dilapidated village in a daze, and 3 figures passed by without knowing it. How did the village become like this? Naruto, I have bad news to tell you. On that day, Immortal Shima's unsteady appearance appeared before him, and Naruto rushed into the village anxiously. Seeing Naruto coming back, all the pedestrians showed a look of disgust. Uncle, what happened to Uncle's village? Go away, I still have work to do. Uncle. The hand stretched out in the air was stunned. Naruto was stunned for a moment, and then asked the woman who was carrying the stone next to him. The woman with tears in her eyes looked at him and turned away without saying a word. Naruto caught up strangely and wanted to ask a few questions, but the woman carrying the stone was furious. Why are you back here? You are the source of the disaster, why didn't you die outside? Auntie. The vicious curse bit into his chest like a poisonous snake. Uzumaki Naruto staggered 2 steps, and suddenly found that the eyes of the surrounding villagers were so familiar, just like before. What a son of 4 generations, What a heroic status, they still regard me as the fox. Boy, hatred is always easier to remember than kindness. But my father saved them. Humph, your father saved them. When did that happen? It is human nature to be ungrateful. Only a fool like you would believe in repaying grievance with virtue. Don't forget the existence of this old man. They will only remember that you are Kyubi, Nine Tails, Jinchuriki, Column Force. Yes, my body is the source of evil. Hate it, boy, put away your innocent head, don't think the world is so beautiful. You bullshit, it's not like that. Not like this, not like this, what are you doing here? Get out of here for this old man, open your eyes and take a good look. Two paws folded together as pillows, Kyubi, Nine Tails, roared Naruto out of the mental space with one voice. Fourth generation, your son is not destined to become a hero, this is the price you pay for playing with the old man. Kyubi, Nine Tails, yawns and closes his eyes as he sees the past. Naruto, who had returned to the outside, looked around blankly, and every villager who saw him did not hide his disgust. Until. You're back. Sakura. Relatively sad, 2 lines of tears flowed. Haruno Sakura wiped her tears and walked towards the memorial tablet. Threads of rain pierced through the sky, brushing and tapping the cold stone tablet, splashing a hazy splash of water. Jiraiya-sama and Kakashi-sensei are both dead. I know, Immortal Zima told me. Naruto stepped forward, reached out and touched the stone tablet, and it took several back and forth to print the notch. Jiraiya. Kakashi. The 2 newly engraved names slid into his heart like sharp knives. Suddenly, Haruno Sakura spoke up and said something unbelievable. Naruto, you shouldn't have come back. Sakura. The icy rain slid through the pink hair, and when the wind blew, it was scattered. Akatsuki's target is you. If you come back at this time, not only will you be unsafe, but the village will also be unsafe. Let's go. The muffled thunder that rumbled into his ears from the distant sky, Uzumaki turned his head sluggishly, looked at the girl he loved and said with difficulty, You told me to go. The first update, the new book on the cloud is only updated with 2,000 words every day. Starting from tomorrow, the quality and quantity of this book will not be delayed, everyone can rest assured. Another weak plea, don't forget to support, I believe tomorrow will be better. Text chapter 271_sister told you that you were finished. Bastard boy, good news, bad news, which do you want to hear first? You can say both together. It's more convenient to read on a mobile phone. m.heihei168.com. Both hands and feet were wrapped in black bandages and unable to move, Lu Meng snorted angrily. Senju Tsunade was annoyed. You bastard, don't know what's wrong. My elder sister will tell you that you don't have this princess in your body, so don't think about it in your life. It's okay, I don't need you to worry about it. Really? Liamong didn't speak, and tilted his head angrily. Senju Tsunade smiled, Shizune, Karen, pack up and let's go. How can you do this? You sew my stomach first. The 2 sides of the cut abdomen were wide open, revealing the full belly of Black Yuhi, and the heart, liver, spleen and lungs were all fried. Too much he is not aimed at people, too much is not aimed at things, people do not do things like this. Senju Tsunade, you are short of great virtue. Stepping on a high root and putting a ponytail, the 2 plump buttocks walked to the door. The woman who turned around smiled and said, You bastard, beg for sister, and sister will stay. Go and dream. Dead Duck's mouth was resolutely unwilling to spit, and his livid face was ashen. Senju Tsunade stood by the door and waited for a while, then wiggled his slender fingertips, opened the door and walked out. Looking at the wooden sliding door that was slammed shut, the heart of Liamong was soothing. Tsunadeheim. You sir. He opened his neck and let out 2 wails. Liamong wanted to die. Baidu Interesting Academy. Master, do we really care about the big bad brother? Little girl, I can't see that you still care about him. I don't have it. Xianglian Xiaolian jumped up with Yuhi's feet. He hates it to death. who cares about him? Really? Senju Tsunade tilted his head jokingly. Karen's face became more Yuhi's face, and the bright Yuhi-colored hair was placed beside him, and his whole person was full of youthful air. Shizune picked up Dudu and looked at it. The baby face that never grew up smiled. Little girl, it's up to you whether you can save that kid this time or not. What? Master, how can I have as much interest as you say? I mean your blood successor. Senju Tsunade stared at Karen earnestly. The little girl was startled. You mean let him bite me? It's not that simple. Senju Tsunade's expression was very complicated. Although your blood is very powerful, it is not without limits. Like his whole body function is necrotic, and ordinary methods have no effect. So, a sunrise and moon set, a black and white conversion. Lu Meng, who was unable to scold with his hands and feet, was lying on his back in the bathroom, his chest wide open like a dead man. If any normal person came in, he would definitely be scared half to death on the spot. Tsunade-heim, I won't let you go. When the young master is in good health, if you are like this, the young master will fight 8. Dare to trick me like this and see if I don't take off your pants. Shizune. Karen. Senior sister, should we both retreat first? Don't talk, just go. Quietly backed 2 steps away from the bathroom door, Uzumaki Karen Kato Shizune turned around and ran. Senju Tsunade was standing outside the door with his fists clasped, and the man who didn't know how to die was still muttering inside, insisting that he pressed him to the head of the bed and spanked him. Left and right and left, all the snapping sounds. I seem to have foreseen the future. Tsunade-heim, please wait, the young master must put you in 108 patterns, and then. Then what? The jade feet that were held high above the top paused and then slammed down, and the broken door smashed into pieces of wood slag. The stunned Liamong glanced at the big cow standing outside the door, that face, purple Yuhi, blue, white, and black. My dear sister, I didn't say anything, really, you have to believe me. I believe in you to die. 2 lunged forward and bit Kiba's teeth, Senju Tsunade's big pale golden eyes filled with sparks. Whoa, it's all exploding. With a radiant grin, 10,000 grass and mud horses ran through his heart, and he couldn't live this day. He packed up a chair and sat next to him. Senju Tsunade, who was so angry, made a cup of hot tea. The shimmer with the tip of the back toe to the front of the forehead was lying on the bed like a ball, and the whole person was Spartan. Sister bastard, tell you that your body is finished and can't be saved. It has completely stopped, and you can consider reincarnation. My good sister, don't you scare people, okay? Lu Meng swayed left and right in disbelief. If it really didn't help, Senju Tsunade would definitely not be what it is now. Shizune, Karen, come in. A cup of tea, the 2 apprentices were called in. Senju Tsunade untied Liamong's hands and feet and flattened them again. The smooth stitches on his stomach went all the way down like a zipper. Can't turn back. Your bodily function has been completely necrotic, and it stands to reason that you should have been finished long ago. However, due to some inexplicable reasons, your spiritual body is still alive. Yesterday, I checked your brain with chakra, and it was already empty. So I want to put it is impossible for you to recover as before. Quote. Explaining the results of the examination, and then presenting the prepared plan, Senju Tsunade sighed. I don't know if this will work or not, so I can only treat a dead horse as a living horse doctor. Once cured, you will probably be able to recover as a person. In the same way, if you can't cure it, you won't be very bad. So don't worry about the outcome of the treatment, it can only be better, it can't be worse. My good sister, what are you trying to do? An inexplicable unease flooded into his heart, and Lu Meng always felt that these words were not quite right. Senju Tsunade pulled Uzumaki Karen to his side playfully, it's good for you. Master. She shyly screamed and threw herself into her arms. Looking at the shy little girl, Lu Meng suddenly felt that there might be a problem with the next treatment. Undress Karen, Shizune prepares tools. Clenching the glass syringe as thick as a child's hand, Shizune stood at the head of the bed holding the gun barrel-like weapon. The more Liamong looked at this thing, the more uneasy it became. They were going to do magic. The lavender blouse was slowly pulled open, revealing 2 small cups from the zipper that slid down. Karen, whose head was almost ashamed to the ground, pressed her small hand to caress the edge of the black hot pants. Things don't seem to be normal. I have to queue for a long time to cut my head, which is annoying. Text chapter 272 _ where is he not good? Sakura, you really want to drive me away. Mobile reading is more convenient m.heihei168.com. For everyone and for the village, Naruto, you shouldn't stay. She's right, you really shouldn't come back. A few figures came from a distance. Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, Ino, 3 men and 1 woman placed the wet lilies in front of the cold stone monument. Uzumaki Naruto lowered his head in a frenzy, his heart icy cold. After a long time, he finally confirmed without feeling, you don't want me to stay. It's not that we don't want you to stay, but the current conditions don't allow it. Shikamaru wiped his face with a complicated expression. The cold rain had a kind of helpless injury. Perhaps you don't know, the daimyo has appointed Shimura Danzo to succeed the first 6th generation Hokage. You must know what that guy is. It is too unsafe for you in the village to stay. Danzo became a Hokage. Naruto opened his mouth in astonishment. That guy can also be a Hokage, isn't he missing? We don't know what happened. Although the patriarchs of each family disagreed, they could only nominate Guy as a candidate, so that there were 2 prospective Hokages in the village, and now they are all rushing to 3 Wolf Mountain to participate in the 5 Shadows talks. Ming Man, you'd better go and help Guy, it's good for you and everyone. And there are so many strong people in that place, even if Akatsuki tries to catch you, they won't sit idly by. Naruto, do you understand? Walking in front of him, he patted his shoulder heavily, and Shikamaru let out a long sullen breath. Uzumaki Naruto was sluggish for a moment, then looked at the memorial tablet and bit Kiba and turned away. Pacha's footsteps slowly walked towards the rain curtain, and the loneliness was extremely sad. You see, kid, they don't need you. Shut up, stinky fox, you know you're annoying. I'm angry, how does it feel to be abandoned? Do you want to find your partner? The spiritual space, the corners of Huoyuhi's fox's mouth were full of scorn, and it was sealed in Naruto's body for all these years, and it was observing this carrier all the time. The more interesting the academy looked, the more and more he felt that he was an idiot. After being yelled at, beaten and scolded for so many years, he still had a heart of protection. Is there anything more bizarre than this in the world? Boy, give up your ridiculous insistence. No one needs you, you've been abandoned. With both hands firmly pressing his ears, Naruto walked forward, staggering 2 steps, and fell into the blisters, covered in mud. The water is so cold, the heart is so cold, why did they do this to me, why? Why is this all? Boy, you are a hero. The smiling face of the sun appeared before him. Naruto kneeled in the water with tears in his eyes, and the blurry water reflected a very lonely figure. Not being needed, not being recognized, in a trance, all of a sudden, I returned to my childhood. The reflection in the water became smaller, and the resentment in my heart increased. Is it all fake? They don't like me at all and they don't need me, so what's the point of me doing these things? What am I alive for? Hokage. The cracked belief crackled, and Naruto, who was crawling up in confusion, was soaking wet. Where should I go? Where do you need me again? He raised his head blankly and shed hot tears in the face of the icy rain, and the hero's son ran out of the village with his head buried in it. The cold icy rain slaps randomly on the face. Warm tears mixed with cold. The colors in front of us are covered up, and the ruthless shadow lingers around. Scenes from the past appeared one by one and shattered one by one. The familiar photos slowly became gray and white. Naruto's heart was cold, the cold was painful, and the cold was grief-stricken. Looking at the figure who staggered up and walked away, Inuzuka Kiba scratched his head worriedly. that guy won't be okay, Shikamaru. Are we a bit like this? It's better to have him injured than to have him dead, it's the best option right now. But Inuzuka Kiba watched Naruto's figure drifting away, and his heart was very uncomfortable. Shino pushed on his sunglasses and said, "It's going to be a bad thing if that kid goes to the horns. He didn't bring anything to eat. What should I do if I'm hungry on the road? I'll go after him." Sakura. He turned his eyes firmly back, and took a deep breath with Haruno Sakura, who had pulled her hair together. "I'm teammates with him. That guy has a problem with his head. I'm afraid he won't even be able to cook well when he travels alone. You can't go by yourself." Shikamaru raised his head irritably and scratched his head vigorously. "There is currently a lack of principles in the village, each clan chief is doing their own thing, and the chain of command is almost paralyzed. Not many people care there are others. If you want to go, you can call your substitute teacher some time ago. He shouldn't take it down because of Kakashi's face. Besides, the caregiver of Kyubi, Nine-Tails Jinchuriki column, was originally his duty." Quote. "Where did you know this?" Hey, I'm a candidate for Hokage's confidential secretary. If Naruto takes the throne in the future, I'll take over from Dad's class. But speaking of it, it doesn't seem likely. Naruto will be Hokage. It turned out to be true, but it's not clear now." Shikamaru turned his head to look at the memorial tablet. "If Jiraiya-sama hadn't died in battle, then this is a foregone conclusion, and now you know it." Seeing Captain Shimura's flat face, Haruno Sakura waved goodbye to a few friends, and chased Naruto after Ino's instructions. Outside the village, the rain curtain was pouring down on the head, and Naruto stood at the entrance of the village blankly, and several nearby tents were full of resentment. No one likes Calamity, and now Naruto is Calamity. Kyubi, Nine-Tails, attacked the village, Pain invaded, and both were counted on his head. Why is this scourge coming back? He's not doing well anywhere. That is, the fourth Hokage was born with disaster. If it weren't for him and he wouldn't die. Get him out of here, and don't harm us again. Isn't this guy still playing tricks on us enough? Go away, go away. When there was a crisp sound, the two broken teacups smashed into the feet, and Naruto's heart completely lost its temperature. Why are these guys talking about me like that? Why should all those things be counted on my head? Do those things have anything to do with me? Grief, resentment, heartbreak, and endless pain poured into his heart. Uzumaki Naruto stood in front of the Konoha gate and let out a desolate non-whistle. Can anyone tell me why this is? What? There is at least one more chapter in the evening, come on. Text Chapter 273 Tsunade Hime's Wonderful Treatment Plan. Yuhi, Sister Anko, Sister Tamari, Brother, there's news for brother. Interesting academy. He hurriedly opened the door to report the good letter, and Hinata's whole face was full of Yuhi's flutter because he was too excited. Tamari Anko stood up all at once. Is there any news for the stinky boy? Where is Fu-kun? It's a message from the land of fire. Brother went to see Tsunade's sister for treatment. After he was out of breath, Hinata, who ran all the way, lay on the door and gasped. Anko Tamari looked at each other and clenched their hearts. The brat is hurt. How is Fu-kun's injury? I don't know. Hinata shook his head nervously. They only got news from my brother, and the specific information is not clear. Let's go to him right away, and we must make him look good when we find him. Daozi's mouth was filled with tofu, with tears welling up in his eyes, but he had to say two harsh words. The little secretary Hinata and Tamari looked at Anko's airy look, slightly less worried. Brother will be all right. It's all right, things are happening. My good sister, can we not do this? The naked girl who took off leaned shyly beside her, and her heart was broken. Senju Tsunade turned to Byakugan angrily. You bastard, it's so cheap to be a good boy. That's why Karen takes pity on you. See if she's willing to do it for someone else. My good sister, it's not a matter of whether you're willing to do it or not, it's too tortuous. Do you feel it? No. Mobile phone reading is more convenient. m.heyhey168.com. Do you have a sense of touch? Neither. Then what are you torturing? With a finger to the middle of his forehead, he staggered Liamong, and Senju Tsunade pinched his waist. This is a mature and plump woman with big breasts and big buttocks covered in flesh, not that fat feeling, but a plump beauty. However, now this beauty is put into the eyes of Liamong, but it is the biggest torture in the world. This woman is so wicked, she's so wicked, she doesn't treat people like this, look what they've done. Oh my god, look at that big bell with thick arms of the kid, is that used to pump up the bike? And the big needle, anyone who sees it will tremble all over. With such two life-threatening things dangling in front of her eyes, how could she even think about a woman? Regret, after the old nose is ruined. If Liamong had known that she was such a treatment, he wouldn't be able to come. My good sister, can we change the needle, it's too big. How old are people who are afraid of injections? Senju Tsunade pouted and continued to fiddle with instruments without raising his head or eyes. The gloomy souls flew away. Bastard boy, let me tell you, if you want to heal your body, you have to work hard. Before you can treat it, we have to settle the account first. What? Again money? That's right. Tsunade raised his head and replied, of course you have to ask for money. A doctor who has such a stake in your elder sister treats you with his own hands, and naturally needs some appearance fees as a reward. Don't worry, because of the relationship between our siblings, my elder sister will definitely not I want you more. My good sister, why am I so hung up on what you said? Tell me the truth, how much do you want? This number. Senju Tsunade held up 5 slender fingers. Liamong asked tentatively, 5 million. Senju Tsunade's face turned black. Liamong, who knew something was wrong, said again, that's 50 million. I mean 500 million. Depend on. You can just snatch silver, 500 million, but you can't say it. My good brother, it's much faster to grab you than silver. Sister Tsunade, you are really my sister. Liamong bit Kiba, his head was about to explode with anger. How can people be so shameless, so fucked up? You bastard, don't be unhappy. If you change the second surname to someone else, my elder sister may not be able to rob him. If my elder sister robs you, that's because I look up to you. I don't need you to look up to it, do you? Lying on the top of the stone platform wanting to cry without tears, Liuman has the heart to slash people with a knife. Senju Tsunade stood smugly beside him, threading a few hemp ropes from the ceiling and hanging down a hammock with a hole in the center. Karen, lie down and try. My good sister, what are you doing here? It was the hammock again, the undressing again, and there was a large syringe next to it, and the gleaming question mark on the forehead couldn't help it. Senju Tsunade angrily resented, what else can I do, treat you? I tell you bastard, it's not expensive to ask you 500 million yuan, Karen has lost a lot this time, not only her, but also I have to suffer. Quite a few. The naked girl lifted her slender feet and climbed to the rope bed, and the livid lying down below would have splattered 3 feet of blood if her body hadn't died on the spot. Yuhi color, actually Yuhi color, too unbearable. The beauty of the hurried glance was deeply reflected in my mind, and Liuman suddenly had the urge to go crazy. Raising her pink legs and climbing onto the rope bed, Karen put her hands on her chest and glanced at Tsunade, then she fell down with her eyes closed. Liamong lost his composure in an instant. Looking at the two, they were less than 3 feet apart, eye to eye, nose to nose. Looking down, 2 arrogant pigeons could be grasped, and 2 protruding points on the top. The pink tube makes people tremble. The trembling and flowing mane stopped trembling, and a thick needle plunged into his chest. Shizune, get ready. The rope bed with one hand and pulling the toolbox with the other, Senju Tsunade pulled out 6 or 7 needles in the blink of an eye. Bastard boy, you heard me clearly, Next, Shizune and I will build a blood circulation channel between you and Karen, and use Karen's Keke Genkai to rejuvenate you. No matter what happens, you can't move. Once it fails in the middle, it is likely to endanger Karen's life, do you understand? Sister Tsunade, why don't you tell me about such a dangerous thing first? I won't do this surgery. Although he really wants to recover his body, Liamong is not willing to gamble on other people's lives. Karen, who was lying on the rope bed, shuddered and opened her eyes complicatedly. Didn't look at her, struggling to get up, but Senju Tsunade pressed it back. Don't worry, since I propose the treatment plan, I am sure of it, Karen is more important than you. Depend on. What are you talking about so seriously? I will add more tomorrow. Open a new book, please support. Text chapter 274_Escape to Youth. Captain Yamato, thank you so much. Heihei168.com. Sakura, there's no need to say that. Kakashi-senpai once told me to take good care of Naruto. A meeting in a hurry during the bloody battle that day became eternity, and Yamato Tianzang felt uncomfortable. Shikamaru, Choji, you two hurry up. Ino, why do you have to do such a troublesome thing, or you'll die? Helping friends is something pretty girls have to do, do you have an opinion? Holding the little waisted tiger with both hands, Shikamaru made a pretty face, and Shikamaru bowed his head and stopped moving. Choji, who was walking behind, was carrying a large bag like a mountain. His nostrils and eyes slowly moved with fire, and he was no different from a Harley motorcycle that couldn't catch fire. How many? Ino's eyes went straight when he looked at the bag. Choji, what are you doing with so much stuff on your back? Eat, my mother said, stuff your belly with 990s, and prepare for battle. What if you are hungry in such a dangerous place as the Five Shadows Convention? Choji, are you a fool? Ino's head popped up with countless hashtags. If you go to the convention, they won't give you food, you idiot. You're an idiot, this is eaten on the road, don't you know I have a big appetite? Choji raised his hand and patted his big belly. One fell backward, stretched his arms and legs and turned into a clamshell turtle. Ino, Shikamaru, smack smack smack, there was a thunderstorm in my head. This troublesome teammate. Dead fat is really dead fat. Spirituality seal. The storage scroll placed on the ground pressed down with both hands. Yamato Tenzo packed the mountain-like backpack inside, and Choji, who saw the backpack disappearing, was horrified. My food, where's my food? Pancakes, chicken burgers, beef jerky, golden ham, oh my god. I'm all out of food, Shikamaru, help me find them. Choji, please calm down. Big drops of cold sweat fell on his forehead, and Nara Shikamaru wanted to die. Even my head becomes abnormal when I encounter food. This is really how I made such a troublesome friend. Take it, your backpack is sealed inside, and when you want to take it out, the knot is not printed. Really in there? Let me see. Thumbs stretched upwards and overlapped. Choji shouted hand seal with both hands, and the mountain-like backpack was re-exposed in the white fog with a loud bang. Ooh, it's my bag. I'll take a look. I'll take a good look. Food is something that needs to be taken seriously and there is no room for sloppiness. After counting the contents in the backpack, Choji buried himself in the pile of food. Ino. Shikamaru. Yamato Tenzo. Why don't you eat him to death? Troubled teammates, troublesome food. Is it really reliable to choose such a guy as a team member? Headache, dizziness, hair tingling. Counting the food, Choji repacked the bag, licked his big pancake and turned his head. Captain Yamato, can I trouble you again? Spirituality seal. Hands pressed down to seal the package, and Yamato Tenzo rolled up the scroll and handed it to Choji. The little fat man who grew up patted his belly and said something that made people vomit 3 liters of blood. Well, can I check again? Choji, you die for my mother. You are more worthy than Shikamaru. Oh man, is my love coming? Beating is kissing, scolding is love, love comes and love's kicks with legs, Ino, have you agreed to be my girlfriend? Bastard. Who's going to be your girlfriend, you stupid fat pig? Who do you call a big fat pig? It's called plump, not fat. You old woman who can't get married. Dare to say that I am an old lady, do you want to die? Very good, the old lady simply fulfilled you today. Blonde hair flying, emerald eyes spitting fire, looking at the two people who were smashed into a ball by Siri. Shikamaru was stunned. Yamato is sluggish. Haruno Sakura is Spartan. With teammates like that, Narajanan, how did you persevere? I want to know too. Aren't you going to stop them? It's okay, just hit and hit. That's how you coordinate your teammates. Let the troubles be resolved, Captain Yamato, don't you think it's a good virtue to wait patiently? Rest, rest. With his hands folded behind the pineapple's head, Shikamaru stared at Shirakumo for a moment. Yamato Tenzo looked left at the battlefield, right at Shikamaru, found a corner and drew a circle. Sakura tugged at the front of her shirt worriedly and looked back into the distance. Where did Naruto go? In the middle of the night, an owl cooed softly, and the two watermelon men jumped up. Lee, let's charge towards the rising sun. Yes, Mr. Guy, my blood is boiling again. Lee. Mr. Guy. Lee. Mr. Guy. You two beasts, stop arguing. It's annoying. Unable to bear it any longer, Tenten with two panda eyes pulled out the copper-headed iron-tailed wolf Kiba stick. The master and apprentice, who covered their faces with their hands, looked at the iron bar full of spikes and swallowed saliva. Tenten, what are you going to do? What do? I will do you. Most of the night without sleep, I charged towards the Chaoyang, and your Chaoyang can rise in the middle of the night. The girl who was woken up within 20 minutes of falling asleep picked up the stick and swung it. To kill them, we must kill them. With the barbed iron bar all over his body drawn in front of him, Might Guy twisted twice and slapped the big Kiba. Lee, let's run for our youth. This is youth. Youth is always full of surprises. Yes, Mr. Guy. Fight. Might Guy threw off his two thighs and ran towards the night. The Ten, who was chasing after him, waved the wolf Kiba stick and greeted little Lee desperately. Ten swiped, little Lee jumped, Ten swept, little Lee jumped, the two jumped and left a big pit. The animals in the forest came out to take a look, and countless grass and mud horses ran through their heads. Where is this lunatic from? What did they do without sleep in the middle of the night? Humans are a dangerous species. Baby, let's move. Dad, you're right, move immediately. Wait, I'm moving too. And I. Little Lee, you stop for me, do you hear me? I'll tell you to stop. In the first update, another book is about to be opened, and the great editor told Union, to be bullshit, to be funny, to be relaxed, the newly opened volume will start from leaving Konoha. Text Chapter 275-2 Mental Illnesses in One Village. The sparse rainwater kept pouring down on the head all the time, and the woods were full of rushing. Uzumaki Naruto dived and walked aimlessly. Heihei168.com. Jiraiya is dead, so is Kakashi, and the rest of his friends don't need him, that's why. Am I really a disaster star? I found a tree pole nearby and sat down. The icy rain poured on my face. It was a biting cold, and the world seemed to crumble into pieces all at once. Kid, are you lost, confused? This is your human nature. What do you think a human is? Many idiots divide people into good people and bad people. In fact, there is no good or bad in the world. Good people are also bad people, and bad people are also good people. As a Jinchuriki column force of Kyuubi, 9 tails, you are destined not to be accepted by the world, and this is the end of your vain attempt to enslave the tailed beast. Crazy laughter spread from the seal, and the Kyuubi, 9 tails, fox roared fiercely. 1 2 3 4. The line of the 023 soul room was broken, and the 4 tails that burst out instantly flew off the tree pole, and even the ground sank 2 feet into it. Yamato Tianzang, who was on the way, was startled, and in the slap that was spread out, the big four characters were chilling. The fourth tale, What Happened to Naruto? Captain Yamato. We speed up. With the help of the marks left on his body, Yamato Tianzang became colder as he ran. The fifth. Article 6. Article 7. Article 7 already. What the hell is going on? It shouldn't be. Monsters in the forest. Too horrible. What is that breath? Of QB Ninetales they rushed out of their homes, and the nature of animals made them choose to take refuge. Baidu Interesting Academy. Baby, go away quickly. His father brought the pot with him. He was wearing a steel helmet, carrying a steel cap, and 2 condoms on his feet. While the squirrel family fled, all the foxes, jackals and tigers and leopards ran away. Everyone, run, if you don't run, you'll be gone. Wait for me, for the sake of the party state, pull the brothers together. Stand up, you stand up for me. When I reported to King Yamadai, I couldn't stand it anymore. A roar resounded through Yunshao, and the shock wave swept all around, and the 2 groups of people who were on their way turned back one after another. Take the wind, check what's going on. Yes, Lord Danzo. He found a bird nearby and flew up. Yamanaka took the wind and shook his wings to break the rain curtain. After a short while, he ran back with a pale face. Almost hung up. What's there? Report Lord Danzo, it's QB Ninetales has come out. Uzumaki Naruto. The one-eyed exposed outside shrank fiercely, and Shimura Danzo, who had the Hokage hat on his head, thought about it and turned back. We went over. If QB Ninetales can be controlled, will others have the courage to resist? What Konoha needs is not gentleness but might. Mr. Guy. Little Lee, this aura is somewhat familiar. Standing on the top of the treetop with his chin pinched and watching, Might Guy frowned. This seems to be the chakra of QB Ninetales, is that Naruto kid? Let's go and see. Teacher, we have to go to such a dangerous thing, are you not afraid of delaying the meeting? Youth is a 10-10 that is not allowed to evade challenges. Let's speed up after watching it. Plus. Beautiful big eyes protruding far and wide, and 10-10 strangled Guy's heart. This damn bastard, mentally challenged, neurotic, is he trying to exhaust this girl to death? 2 beasts, too unhuman, too fucked for him. Guy, you are a beast. With cursing gestures in her heart, the little beauty 10-10 shook her head while holding her wrists and followed behind Guy who was rushing towards the battlefield. Lord Rakage, it's the breath of a tailed beast. Judging by its intensity, it's likely to be QB Ninetales. Such a strong shock has only been felt by Lord Killer Bee in the past, and Lord Yugito is worse. You're doing well, Nozomi, it looks like the Konoha guys are in some trouble. Well, let's go and see, maybe we'll run into the Akatsuki guys. Rakage, who held up Li Guang, rushed out. Tarui touched his head, his eyelids clapped, and he had no energy at all. Hey, can't you tell 2 lies? That's QB Ninetales, and against a pervert-level monster, we are not even cannon fodder. Don't complain about Tarui, hurry up and catch up with Lord Rakage. Can I go? He stroked his snow-white hair and brushed aside the bangs that covered his left eye. Kumogakur Jonin, who had dark brown skin and thick lips, was depressed to death. She glared at him angrily, turned around and chased after the 4th generation of Rakage. In the open space, the 2 groups of people together are facing each other. Shimura Danzo, Aburame Shiguro, Yamanaka Kazuki. vs. Might Guy Lee Rock, 10-10 Yamato Class 10, plus the worried Haruno Sakura. The mad Naruto swayed his tail back and forth against the pale animal bones, and his godless eyes were filled with ferocious light. 8th. It has become Article 8. Another tail floated up from behind and let out a piercing roar. Yamato Tenzo, who had big drops of cold sweat spilling out of his cheeks, was about to be frightened away. Might Guy looked at Shimura Danzo, who stood in the northwest and southeast with a dignified expression. You guys look so frustrating in Hokage robes. Tenten looked left at the one-eyed bandaged lame old man, and right at the watermelon-headed moon man. He couldn't help but feel like a sea, and the slap was a vomit. Look at them like that, their big white buttocks are bright. Lord Hokage, we have to stop him quickly, or we won't be in a hurry. He ran to the side with a sign in his hand, and Yamato looked at Naruto worriedly. Might Guy wiped his nose speechlessly and stopped him. How can I do this? Although youth is not allowed to escape challenges, but I really don't have the ability, if only Kakashi is still here. Thinking of his deceased friend and shaking his head, Might Guy turned the corner of his eye slightly towards the opposite side. Just as he was about to say a few words, a flashing figure appeared in the midfield. The two Hokages. What are you Konoha doing? Where are the Akatsuki people? You are. I am the fourth generation of Reikage. Might Guy with an extremely bad look. Yii was half dead on the spot. How did this guy become Hokage, and he didn't even know the news of the leaders of the hidden villages? Or, is this guy a parallel traitor? Konoha doesn't have two Hokages. The old man is the sixth generation appointed by the big name. Shimura Danzo is immortal. You have already been expelled from the village. Might Guy choked Danzo half to death in one sentence, then turned to Reikage and said, I am the blue beast of Konoha, recommended by all the Jonin. Succeeding the sixth generation of Hokage. Hello Lord Reikage. What's the matter with the two of you? There are two shadows in one village. Are you kidding me? The old volume will continue to be published, and the new volume will be updated. Brothers and sisters, please leave a message which one you like. Text chapter 276 _ how much bigger is bigger. The bright moonlight in front of the bed, two pairs of shoes under the bed, a pair of dogs and a man and woman, ahem. My good sister, how long are we going to be here? Wait, I'm not in a hurry. What are you in a hurry? Shizune, give Karen the prepared healing potion, and the same goes for the chakra recovery potion. Heihei168.com. One Blue and one Yuhi poured 2 bottles of medicine into his mouth. His face turned towards Yuhi's little girl, and he opened his eyes for a while, then turned aside for a while. The bright Yuhi-colored hair hung down to the tip of his nose through the gap between the rope bed, and he breathed with his breath. Itchy and numb. Wrong. I can feel it. Surprised, his eyes widened and Kiba, Liamong suddenly realized that his 5 senses had recovered since he didn't know when. It doesn't matter if the 5 senses are restored, the small flowing ons that are hard like sticks have completely grown into towering green onions. It's not that Liuman has some bad intentions, and no one can stand this situation. Look at you, you are close, and the distance is less than 3 feet, about 1 meter. The naked little girl is lying on the rope bed, and there is a pimple on the white tender meat on the side of the exposed area. The little white dove that could be held on the chest protrudes from the mesh, and the top 2 points of the squeezed Yuhi stand upright. Looking at the top, look down, the smooth lower abdomen, the floating mountains, the little water droplets in the sky, Yuhi's hair swaying slightly, 2 silver obsessed, 2 silver swinging. Why didn't I find out before that this little girl's film is so predictable? Straight, not ordinary straight. The white body is straight and smooth like a mirror. It's too much to confuse people, too much to make people unbearable. Gently wiggling his nose twice, sniffing the fragrance of his hair, and raising the flag to pay homage, he felt hot everywhere. It's hot and it's hot. Miss Tsunade, what are you doing? Don't move, let my sister study it carefully. I really haven't read it carefully before. The small Liamong, which was as hard as a stick, was grasped in his hand, and it was as hot as a charcoal. Tsunade pursed Yuhi's lips and glanced up and down, his pale golden eyes narrowed into a moon, and Kiba's hand crooked. The heart of the Liamong of Baidu Yui Academy was drawn into one piece at that time. My good sister, you are really my sister. It's not a grip, let alone a rubber stick. You can't mess around. Bastard boy, what's wrong with holding you? Why don't I hold it for someone else? The slender fingertips gently scratched the mushroom head twice, and a cold electric current rushed to the forehead. Looking at the little guy who was one size bigger in his hand, Tsunade giggled, "Bastard, don't say that my sister is taking advantage of you. My sister is all for your own good. When you wake up, if you can fully mobilize the blood circulation, it's good for you. And the best way to increase your blood circulation is to get you excited. But you're not allowed to shoot. Once it's out, it's not. My good sister, can you not be so straightforward?" Karen didn't speak. "What did you say?" "Shizune, get a rope and tie it up." "No, forget the rope, and it won't bleed after being pricked." "Then can you hold on?" "I can hold on." "Can you really hold on?" "Really hold on." "Why don't I believe it?" The slender 5 fingers tugged up and down twice, and the whole body suddenly tightened and became Spartan. "Revenge, this is Kai Guguo's revenge, Senju Tsunade, you're too much of a thing." The little brother in his hand loosened and tightened for a while, and when he was interested, he blew 2 aromas at the mushroom head. The tormented taste was not to mention how annoying, teasing people like a cat scratching a mouse. Saying 1,000, saying 10,000, it was Tsunade Heim, a stunner who harmed people. As soon as he found it was not good, he immediately stopped, and hung the on in the air. His whole body was sweating, and the blood vessels were protruding, and all of them appeared. Surface. "Very well, that's it, hold on." The tube pierced from the chest, connected to Karen's hand artery. Fresh Yuhi's fluid poured into the withered atrium. Under the rapid blood loss, the little girl turned pale little by little towards Yuhi. Tsunadeheim shot at the right time. Shizune adds medicine to increase blood. Karen's pale face gradually became Yuhi moist with the injection of the positive chakra representing life. Blood analysis. Shizune ready to purify. The liquid medicine analysis basin that was placed on the bottom of the bed, and the blood released from the ankles poured in. Seeing the dark Yuhi-colored blood overflowing, Shizune pressed down his hands solemnly, and the blood that had awakened was inevitably contaminated with toxins. At this time, if it returned directly, it would cause extremely serious damage to Karen. If the situation is avoided, blood treatment must be performed. This is not an easy job. It is not only troublesome but also needs to be careful, and there is no room for sloppy work. Tsunade, Shizune, Karen, the master and apprentice's minds all collapsed together. Keke Genkai appeared, revealing the ring-shaped fairy pattern all over his body. The flowing light suddenly tightened the atrium, and there was no impulse. He closed his eyes and tried his best to mobilize the inner chi and the whole blood flow, opening up the dry blood vessels little by little. Meridians. The entire operation lasted a full day and night from sunset to dawn to sunset. 3 men and 1 woman stayed in the bathroom and did not leave the house. Izumi, who held the door outside, was envious. "Good guy, that man is too happy. There are 3 women, big, small, plump, weak, whatever. If I can be like this again, I will live 10 or 8 years less." Succeed. Envy is bad. Turning his head to look at the wall clock and smacking his lips, the jealous boss guessed maliciously that he wouldn't be afraid to spit out the skin after soaking for so long, and you will be a tofu seller. Ellipsis. A scoop of warm Izumi water was poured down on the head, and the tight-lipped opened his mouth, as uncomfortable as falling into the muddy soup and drying it. On the face, body, hands, and legs, there is a feeling of being bound and collapsed, and there are bursts of rag-like tearing noises when swaying twice. The dark skin falls down like broken yellow mud. Water a rush, like green lotus and white lotus, is eye-catching. Senju Tsunade is not calm. Not only she is not calm, Shizune and Karen are not calm. The 3 girls, the old, the middle and the young, looked at each other, poured the water, and peeled the skin. Karen, this little girl, obviously can't stand on her feet. She even picked up the brush and scratched like a shoe brush. It's called a scrubbing brush. After half an hour, the newborn Liamong stood up straight and covered his lower body with both hands. "My good sister, you're here to get me a dress. It's not like you haven't seen it." Yes, it seems to be a little bigger than before." How much bigger is it? It seems so much bigger. Karen, you're not good. Master, Shizune is bullying me. The new volume will be updated later, and it broke out today. Let's watch the cloud. In addition, the update time of the new book, The Rise of the Infinite Comprehensive Fat Man, is scheduled from 7 o'clock to 8 p.m., and the daily update is 0. Interested brothers and sisters can go to see it. Come on. Text Chapter 277 _ The Border Between Love and Hate. The majestic rain was pouring down on the head, and the anger of the fourth generation Hokage was like thunder. Mobile phone reading is more convenient. m.heihei168.com. In the storm, Might Guy and Shimura Danzo are not sure what to do. Two shadows in one village. This is really hard to explain. Say, what do you mean? And this guy, what's going on? First repeating the previous question, and then pointing at Naruto, the cubit 9 tails Jinchuriki column who had already shown 8 tails roared with force. What kind of rotten branches, broken grass and leaves, floating around without a head and no brains, rolled up in the rain and stuck to the face, the spit is full of bitter taste. Lord Hokage, this is an accident. Accident. It was a surprise. The bifurcated mustache trembled 3 times. Yi pondered in her heart, accidental, how are you fooling the ghost, can this kind of thing be unexpected? The virtual dog cannon, howling to the sky. Maybe it was getting annoyed by the rain, or maybe it was because he wanted to show his power. The cubit 9 tails man Jinchuriki column with an exoskeleton raised his head on all fours, and opened his mouth to the limit, black as ink. Tailed beast bomb gathers rapidly, one after another, boom. Shot to the sky. The cloudy sky with lightning and thunder was slammed by the dark light Jinchuriki column, and a hole was revealed in the blink of an eye, and the sunbeam as thick as a bucket shone down like a spotlight. This is piercing the sky, this is really piercing the sky. Naruto. Haruno Sakura wanted to step forward worriedly, but Ino quickly pulled her back. Don't be impulsive, that kid lost consciousness. Shikamaru, let's run. Choji, are you scared again? Aren't you afraid? I'm afraid too. I'm afraid you won't run away yet. At this time, whoever runs will be finished. Stop and don't move. Yuhi's body covered in blood slowly lowered, and the 8-tailed Naruto lowered his head and looked around through the gap in Mukuro's bones. Interesting academy. Might Guy. Danzo. 4 generations of Hokage. Out of control. Cubit 9 tails Jinchuriki column force is really not easy. This look reminds me of Killer Bee's childhood. Captain Yamato. I try my best but I need help or I can't get close to him. 4th generation Hokage, Sama. Want to ask Lao Su for help? You caused this mess yourself. I just came to see if Akatsuki's people arrived. Now. 4th generation Hokage, Sama. Don't talk about it, I won't mind your business. Before the 5 shadows meeting, you'd better find out who the shadows in your village are. The 2 Hokages are all bullshit. After saying a word, he turned around and wanted to walk. As soon as Hokage raised his foot, a fishy Yuhi's tail swept over. Shimura Danzo narrowed his old eyes and quietly made a retreat gesture, smearing shoe polish on the soles of his feet. What an idiot. Don't you know who will move first and who will be unlucky at this time? This is just right. Let cubit 9 tails consume you first. If you can solve the shadow of a village, it will be not bad. Demon Fox Coat. Thor Armor. The 4th generation Hokage, who was windy in the back of his head, slammed back with a fist. The fox claws, which were completely blocked by chakra, met the fist wrapped in thunder and lightning, and the mud blown by the strong wind was lifted 3 layers. The terrifying battle begins. The 8-tailed Jinchuriki column force confronts the grumpy Yayoi. The dust and smoke splashed by the 2 guys frightened the birds in the entire forest. Run, run, Twitter. Hurry up, I'm going home. Mom, catch up, run. Captain Yamato. Don't worry, I'll do it right now, you stay away. Hokage, style ear straightening surgery. Naruto was attracted by the fourth generation Hokage. Yamato Tianzang slipped into the battlefield like a chicken and a fox, and came here for a while. Naruto froze in place for a moment as the palm showing the word seat slapped on the chest. Wake me up. With one hand, he pulled out the thick chakra line of his arm and stepped back, and Yamato Tianzang's left hand slammed to the ground. 12 wooden Jinchuriki column that rumbled up, covered with sharp cones from top to bottom, flashing black brilliance facing inward. The fourth generation of Hokage stopped moving when he saw this, and looked left and right from the corner of his eyes, and Shimura Danzo was no longer there. Might Guy, who also found Danzo running away, was sinking like water, and a strong sense of powerlessness poured into his heart. Seeing the images of the 4 generations of Hokage fighting, Guy deeply felt his own inadequacy and was completely suppressed. Unless he opened the 8 gates, there was no way to do it, but the 8 inner gates is a forbidden technique, which can be opened. And Shimura Danzo, that asshole. Kakashi, why are you leaving such a big trouble? If you were still alive, this kind of thing wouldn't be my turn. It's such a big trouble that makes my head hurt. Village, Hokage. With a single palm stretched forward to hold the chakra flow, Yamato Tianzang's forehead was dripping with sweat, and the chest was soaked in a stream. No, it can't be suppressed like this. Naruto, wake up. Cherry. Curled up in the depths of the spiritual world, Naruto suddenly raised his head. Was it Sakura's voice just now? No, she doesn't need me anymore. I am Kyuubi Ninetales Jinchuriki Column Force, a monster in their eyes, a murderer in their eyes. Blame me when the village is destroyed, blame me when people die, blame me for everything. When he was a child, Byakugan was sneered, scolded, and the scars he thought he had forgotten were opened again. The longer you forget, the more painful the injury. Those hidden memories bite your body like a poisonous snake. Mrs. Village, in the future, you are not allowed to answer whether that kid has heard. Stay away from that monster. Don't play with him. Why would that guy let him live? Lord Hokage should have killed him. It's too dangerous to let this kind of thing operate in the village. We are moving. Move tomorrow. There are no neighbors around the empty house, no one likes lonely children, and friends of the same age watch from a distance, and they will be beaten if they want to lean over. The monsters don't come here. My mother told me not to let us play with you. Hit him. Throw him a stone. Monster, you are a monster. I am a monster. I'm not a monster. The thick hatred mixed with the restless chakra ups and downs, Yamato Tianzang's face was dead and ugly. Roar. He lowered his neck and fixed his gaze, his dark eyes fixed on the outside of the circle. Get out of here, old man. The illusory Kyuubi Ninetales image emerged through the chakra, and the fourth Hokage, who wanted to leave, stopped. Complete body. This is not good news. Get out of here. The wide, pointed mouth exposed the black lips, and the sharp kiba protruded from the lips. Yamato Tianzang was frightened, and an uncontrollable fear hit his heart. How powerful the Kyuubi Ninetales fox is, only those who really face it know. Next update the new volume. Brothers and sisters, watch the cloud performance. From now on until midnight, let's do as much as you want, let's work hard together, persistence is the goal of victory. Text Chapter 278 _ Did she want to be a mother when she was pregnant? You bastard, you can't be considered a human anymore. It's easier to read m.heihei168.com on a mobile phone. Senju Tsunade sighed faintly, his pale golden eyes extremely complicated. Liamong was stunned for a while, sitting at the table waiting for an explanation. Previously, your body was completely necrotic due to thunder and lightning. Although it was reawakened by me using a trick, it was a trick after all. You seem to be no different from a normal person now, but in fact, you are already missing a lot of things in your body. Quote. Like your brain. Senju Tsunade curled his slender forefinger and flicked his obscene forehead. Did you hear that? It's already empty, except for a few blood vessels that I connected with medical ninjutsu, there's nothing left. Aha, my good sister, won't you scare me? It's not a scare, it's a fact. Can people without brains live? Liamong frowned. He didn't believe Tsunade would lie in such a solemn tone. Tsunade sighed again, and crossed his hands and bit the tips of his big thumbs. Not only your head, but your 5 internal organs have also mutated. How should I put it? Your current body seems to have undergone some kind of special evolution, but it seems to have changed again. You have become a monster. In conclusion, I don't know what you have become. But one thing is for sure, you are now half of the Uzumaki tribe. Quote. What do you mean? Liamong's heart tightened, followed by Ichiraku. If this is true, then... Gaba's clenched fist, bursts of brilliance appeared on the surface, and the strong repulsive force of the past was no longer noticeable. Karen brought you to life with her own blood and the Kekkei Genkei, and your body is now completely reborn from her blood. She is your mother, strictly speaking. Puff. A mouthful of old blood spurted out 3 feet away, and Liamong coughed and covered his forehead. Interesting Academy first release. Uzumaki Karen's face, Yuhi's face, raised his little head. Big bad brother, call mommy to listen. I'll call you a big head. Liamong sighed Kiba with grief and indignation, and wanted to ask the young master to call you mother. Can you be born? Liamong brother is not good. Sister Shizune, you tease me too. It's not a molestation. Senju Tsunade leaned forward and squeezed out a Magata trench. We have medical basis for saying this. Why didn't I see the medical basis for his aim? He glanced at each other angrily, and said when he saw Karen, has she ever been pregnant and wanted to be a mother? It has nothing to do with being pregnant or not. Senju Tsunade grinned, her beautiful big eyes narrowed into Moon Kiba. Children are born from maternal cells. I know that, eyes and eggs, I understand that. The bastard knows a lot. Ahem, everyone on Earth knows it's okay. Since you are clear, do you still have to refute it? Senju Tsunade smiled playfully. Your body is born from Karen cells. What is the difference between this and pregnancy, and you are more pure this way? Selling high, my good sister, it's too far-fetched for you to talk about such a thing. Let's stop playing, okay? What's the situation with me now? Hey, I know you kid won't admit it. But the facts are facts, Karen really counts as your mother. Senju Tsunade laughed again maliciously, and immediately changed the subject. Your body, you have to talk about it, and normal there is not much difference between people, that is, there is something missing in the head, there is less inventory in the stomach, and the rest are trivial. Quote. What's missing from the belly? You'll find out later. Senju Tsunade kept his mouth shut. Liamong asked 2 questions and couldn't get an answer, so he didn't care about it. His voice suddenly turned cold and said, my good sister, now the 5 countries are preparing to hold the 5 shadow talks, are you interested in intervening in the past? Me, I don't care, and such troublesome things will not be involved. Danzo. Liamong said only one name, and Senjutsunade's face changed. Kill him, I'll help you. Senjutsunade's eyes narrowed. You bastard, even my sister wants to use it. I think you want to kill him. I can't help it. Who let that old guy get in my way? Breaking people's wealth is like killing one's parents. He must die. In less than 2 months, the bottom gangster in the country of fire almost changed hands. In order to solve the problem of wealth and justice, the old immortal from the village actually made the same idea. After Liamong found out, it was such a hateful word. Money, 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 Xiaoyi's money. Whoever dares to steal money from Xiaoyi, Xiaoyi dares to play with anyone. Shimura Danzo must die. Get the wind and get a bird over there to see it. Yes, Lord Danzo. Owl Cuckoo flies into the air, and Kyubi, Ninetails, who is trapped by Mokuden, wood style keeps roaring. Damn boy, come here and break the seal. You've given up anyway, so it's not bad. Hey, dead boy, did you hear me when I told you to open the seal? Uzumaki Naruto, who turned a deaf ear, tucked his arms around his knees and curled up in a ball. The Kyubi, Ninetails, fox stretched out his paws angrily, his lantern-like eyes staring at the door through the seal railing. Naruto remained silent, completely living in his own world, sad, desperate, and scarred. The memories from childhood to adulthood crossed my heart bit by bit, and what was only a little bit beautiful was also shattered by the ruthless words. Don't need me anymore. Naruto, Naruto, wake up. Kutam knelt down and clenched his fists, and Haruno Sakura stared at the beast-tailed monster in the seal formation with tears in her eyes. Naruto in the spiritual sea was stunned. Sakura's voice. Has there been a hallucination again? How could she be here? Damn boy, come and open the seal, don't you want to live? If you don't want to live, give your body to this old man. Stinky fox, I don't need you to worry about my affairs. Putting his head into his knees and wrists again, Naruto didn't even bother to move. Kyubi, Ninetails, the fox is completely angry. Is this dead boy sick in the head? It seems that he needs to be hit. Lord Hokage, Lord Raikage. Yamato Tianzang breathed heavily with sweat and pleaded with great difficulty. I need help, this technique can't hold it back anymore. Today's first update, the cloud works hard. It's really annoying to jump around on a big weekend. There is a window on the top of the building, sizzling, ding ding ding, it's really annoying. Text Chapter 279 The Calculation of Shikaku and Hiyashi. Inside the small two-story building with eaves and buckets, the long stone square tables were filled with people sitting in 2 rows. Baidu Interesting Academy. The first official in his right hand, wearing a black robe and a top hat, spoke first. Since Konoha Hidden Village has become what it is now, we in the Land of Fire will definitely not sit idly by. Lord Damo has agreed and decided to support you with all our strength. Reconstruction. Budget first, then other countries' tensions. But before that, we have to identify Hokage. Quote. Having said this, the official's eyes narrowed and his hands crossed. Sir Daimyo has already appointed Shimura Danzo to be the 6th generation Hokage, but you have introduced another candidate, which makes us very uneasy. Mr. Chief of Staff, Shimura Danzo's notoriety in Konoha makes it difficult to convince him to serve at Hokage. Furthermore, we remain extremely skeptical that your decisions are intentional. What do you mean by that? Sharingan of Uchiha Shisui. Nara Shikamaru didn't explain much, and pushed the information past with a little mention. The Chief of Staff opened it for a quick look, and his 2 eyes instantly became the boss. Danzo is very ambitious, and he will not do anything to become Hokage. Although there is no clear evidence, the death of the 4th and 3rd Hokages has nothing to do with him. It is the Uchiha family affair, and he also plays a role in it. He has played a very disgraceful role. Therefore, we have reason to doubt whether Lord Daimyo and the officials have been caught in his demonic illusion in this incident to make this absurd appointment. Bring it to me to see. Putting down the folding fan in his hand and unfolding the information that Konoha had summed up, he scrutinized the information several times. Heihei168.com. Shimura Danzo. Silently throwing the information back on the table, Daimyo raised his eyes with a fan. Since you have doubts about your previous decision, what is your choice? Might Guy, the patriarchs of all ethnic groups in the village unanimously recommended Might Guy to succeed the 6th generation of Hokage. Is that the Azure Beast as famous as the son of White Fang? I heard that the guy has a problem with the seeds in his head. It wouldn't be a surprise to have someone like that become Hokage. Although Danzo may have made a move in this matter, but speaking of it, he has some things right. Compared with the 2, is it too much of a joke to let Might Guy succeed? The noisy arguing came into my ears, and sweat stained Nara Shikamaru's face. The 2 old guys, Kaharu Udatane Homura Mitokado, seemed to have become clay figurines. What do you 2 mean by asking? We have been friends with Danzo for a long time, and it is difficult to express our opinions on this matter. Please forgive me, Lord Hokage. Is it like this? He looked suspiciously at the 2 old fellows, and then at the other 3 present at the meeting. Hyuga Hiyashi said at the right time, because of Uchiha Shisui Sharingan, problem, the subconscious of the two elders is suspected of being tampered with. Therefore, until the matter is confirmed, the clan chiefs in the village remain skeptical about their judgment. If possible, we hope that Mr. Daimyo will directly delegate officials to move in. Quote. The two old faces he brushed were gloomy to the end, and Kaharu Udatane Homura Mitokado turned his head in unison, staring at Hyuga Hiyashi, who didn't care if he didn't speak, but would kill him if he spoke. Directly appoint officials, this is the life of both of them. Once the Daming Mansion really complied, the two of them would lose their status in the village. Such a thing must not be compromised. My lord, the matter of Yinkyun still has to be solved by Yinkyun. It's not that I don't trust your staff, but the ninja world is cunning and changeable. If ordinary people who are not familiar with ninjas enter the village to act, it is very likely that many troubles will occur. Quote. Two consultants, are you being a little too alarmist? Chief of Staff, even the two of us old guys may have been caught in Danzo's tricks. Ordinary people like you who can't bear the law at all, what's the use of going to the village? Just a simple demonic illusion can make the you. Alright, it is inconvenient for the Kingdom of Fire to intervene in Konoha's affairs. We still trust the two advisors very much. The folding fan that covered half of his old face shook slightly, and the daimyo stopped the argument between the two parties, and at the same time repositioned Kaharu Udatane Homura Mitokado's identity. Hiyashi Shikaku, who heard this, was a little disappointed, but he didn't care too much, which is a reasonable thing. It's good to be able to do it, but it doesn't matter if it can't be done. As for whether or not to tear the face, it has long been ignored. The conversation returned, and the two sides began to debate whether Might Guy should succeed Hokage. As long as there is a consensus, the Hokage will be confirmed. This is completely different from the previous Danzo. The old guy only got the support of the daimyo, but not the recognition of the village. Might Guy is the opposite. Chief of Staff carefully looked at the recommendation letter of the 6th generation Hokage, and hissed and took a sullen breath. Clan Chief Nara, Chief Hyuga, according to the data, there seems to be some problems with the person you recommended. Is his character really suitable for Hokage? Ahem, although Might Guy is a little too out of the way, he's not confused when it comes to big things. Really? Passing the information one by one suspiciously, the Chief of Staff looked at his colleague. The four officials were a little hesitant after turning over the information in turn. According to the intelligence, Guy's character was indeed unconvincing. Although the strength and prestige are good, but it is this character, the character of the beast, this is really. Brains twitched and looked at each other, and the officials were a little undecided on this matter. But there is one thing they are very happy about, that is Guy's position. That is, it is not the conservative faction led by the 3 generations of Hokage in the past, nor the martial arts faction led by Shimura Danzo now. This faction, which has appeared since the 3rd generation of Hokage succeeded to the throne, if it can be reintegrated, it will be very beneficial to the country of fire. If in the past, they would never allow Konoha to move towards unity, that would be tantamount to a threat to the land of fire. But now Konoha has lost that power. From the Hokage they elected, it can be seen that Might Guy's strength has not reached cage level, and pushing him to the top is also a compromise. Do you agree or not? After meeting his eyes several times and making up his mind, the Chief of Staff coughed and said, as for the candidate for the 6th generation of Hokage, we. Also, brothers and sisters, let's update the volume next and see the specific situation. If there is nothing unexpected, there will be another chapter in the old volume. Text chapter 280 maybe we can be friends. 6th generation Hokage, remember that you Konoha owe Lao-su a favor. If it wasn't for Akatsuki, I would not have gotten involved in such troublesome things. Righteous Thunder Shen Fury Thunder Axe. The big foot raised high in the blue lightning smashed down, and the 4th generation Raikage smashed the 8-tailed Naruto into the ground with just one move. Kyubi, Ninetails, the demon fox, was furious, and kept roaring to get rid of the seal. If he could escape, what would a Reikage who specializes in ninjutsu be nothing? Damn boy, quickly tear off the seal for this old man. Naruto, living in his memories, completely ignored Kyuubi, Ninetales' cry. Attacked by top-level lightning, the incarnation of Kyuubi, Ninetales, which was sealed by Mokuden, wood style, inevitably degenerated. 4 generations of Reikage looked at him and clenched his fists. Looks like it has to be done again. Heavy thunderstorm. Raising her elbows high, with a blazing thunder blasting her forehead, Haruno Sakura grabbed the front of her shirt in horror, and Naruto. Sakura, it's Sakura's voice again, will Sakura call me again? Dumbly raised his head and looked around. Uzumaki Naruto's eyes were dazed and at a loss. The Kyuubi, Ninetales fox stirred up all the chakras to roar wildly, but Reikage's combined efforts completely suppressed it. Abominable, these human beings are abominable. If there is only one Yamato, Kyuubi, Ninetales can break free in a few seconds, but adding Reikage makes a whole difference. Damn Thunder Chakra, damn Mokuden, wood-style, ninjutsu. That Konoha ninja over there, can you escape faster, you rotten wood, compared to the legendary Hokage, your 2 brushes are really bad. Baidu Interesting Academy. Rotten wood escape. I call this a rotten wood escape. A mouthful of old blood was stuck in his chest, and Yamato Tianzang's face was twisted and pumped straight like a bitter gourd. Even if my Mokuden, wood style, is a little worse, you don't have to be so slaughtered, right? This is also disrespectful. Big Kiba and stepping up the chakra output, Naruto, who was kicked and kicked by the 4th generation Reikage, gradually returned to his original state. Withdrawn from the battle, narrowed his eyes at Naruto's appearance. It was indeed an immature man with Jinchuriki column power. He couldn't even control the tailed beast. Snort. Konoha looks like it's not as good as it used to be. The 2 brush eyebrows were twisted together to sink the watermelon head, and Might Guy, who had never done anything, was worried. Something is wrong, look at Reikage like this, I'm afraid. Naruto, how are you Naruto? With tears in her eyes, Sakura's tears fell down in a string. But Naruto didn't seem to feel it. In the sea of consciousness, the sunken boy stood in front of the seal and faced the Kyuubi, Ninetales fox. Damn boy, I will go out one day, you can't control this old man. Kyuubi, Ninetales, is it a pain to be locked up here? HMPH. Damn boy, don't look at this old man with those sympathetic eyes, it's disgusting, you know. Maybe we can be friends. Ha ha ha, dead boy, what are you talking about, to be friends, what qualifications do you have to be friends with this old man? No one needs me, no one cares about me, the only value in my existence seems to be you. Naruto didn't care about Kyuubi, Ninetales' contempt, and silently looked at each other through the railing. Because of you, I have been resented by the villagers since I was a child. I thought it was all caused by you, and they would not have been like this without you. Quote. That's what you deserve. Kyuubi, Ninetales bit Kiba, his eyes full of anger. Naruto sighed in disappointment. I deserve it. Master Jiraiya once said to me that I am the son of a hero, and my father told me the same. To this end, I have been working hard to get their approval. Then become Hokage, a being needed by all. Quote. You are a fool. Perhaps you're right. Thinking of his past efforts and present rewards, Naruto suddenly realized that he was such a failure. They already know my identity and know that I am the son of the 4th generation of Hokage, but they still call me it's the source of the disaster, saying I brought them disaster. But do these things really have anything to do with me? The complicated eyes looked at Kyuubi, Ninetales, through the seal. One person and one beast did not speak for a long time. Kyuubi, Ninetales, as disdain, Naruto is confused. Unnecessary, unrecognized, and always angered, the young man suddenly stretched out his hand. Kyuubi, Ninetales, the fox was stunned. What he couldn't do no matter how he shouted before, now he. If possible, please remember me. Even if we can't be friends, we have lived together for so many years. Kyuubi, Ninetales, I hope you can live happily. Reach, spin, release. The 4 generations of Hokage who appeared quietly grabbed Naruto's wrist, and the father and son looked at each other like this. Good for a long time. You are not the father. Have you seen me? The voice of the spirit body left when the 4th generation was sealed was slightly stagnant. QB Ninetails Fox is angry. Now he is really angry. He can't be angry anymore. The liberty that was about to be seen was blocked, and its anger was enough to set the sky on fire. It's you again. 4 generations of Hokage. Although I don't want to see this kind of scene, it was set at the beginning of the seal. As long as Naruto shows his 8th tail, I will appear here. You're not a father, who are you? Naruto looked at the familiar figure in front of him. Although he felt very close, he had seen 4 generations of Hokage, but he still found something abnormal. I am your father, or part of your father. Shadow clone. That's understandable, my dear son. Get out of the way, you're not funny at all, I'm going to let it go. Why? No, it needs freedom. Naruto looked firmly at Namikaze Minato. The QB Ninetails Fox fell silent, and the anger just now disappeared without a trace in the firm words. Naruto was not affected. Looking at his son's clear eyes, the 4th generation of Mizukage was also stunned. At this moment of trance, Naruto peeled off the last trace of the seal. The rumbling door was split on either side, and the QB Ninetails Fox and the 4th Hokage were facing each other. There is also a new chapter, and the cloud will try to get out before the point. Brothers and sisters, come on.